G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. Oh, Algared, how you doing, buddy?
Well, I think Execute, we've got a bit of lag today.
I think you like talking over top of me. I think it is.
Yeah. Well, old man Heston probably does.
Mm.
Yes, I did. Well, we there.
Mm.
But there does seem to be a bit of lag on my end. I'm not sure why. So.
I think you're just old.
Yeah, possibly.
Need an update.
But.
New model.
But for the sake of our audience, if it does appear that X is talking over me or I'm talking over X, that is probably why.
Yeah, another quiet week in Star Citizen, to be honest with you. It's probably the quietest I've ever seen it. In all the kind of years we've been doing this. And I always knew it would be one of the quietest leading up to the release of Squadron. Would be this time period. Next week we've actually got interesting. They've kind of brought it forward a little bit. The Foundation Festival, and it appears that it's not the same. Sorry, realized I've said the wrong thing. The Foundation Festival is coming, but they're also doing the start of Ship Showdown as well, which is rather interesting because that usually doesn't kick off till about halfway through August, so it appears to be starting about 3 weeks early. Now, I think that's because they've moved things forward. You tell me if you think I'm wrong here, Algared. Because of the things they've got planned in early October.
Well, it's interesting you said that, because the second you said they're doing it early, I was thinking, this is because they've got things planned in October.
Yep.
So, yeah, I can't disagree with that thought process. It just makes perfect.
Yep. Looks like we're going to have to use our own bot because I forgot to turn it off last week. I think there's problems with... So I can't get it to start. We can get ours to start. Go. We might be going bot free this week, Algared. Oh no, there we go. It's going.
Laggy today.
Yeah.
Everything's laggy today.
So yeah. Get your questions in, because this is going to be a very short stream for the questions, because it is. We're just in that quiet period, guys. And those of you that are here today know exactly what I'm talking about, because I've probably been here before. We are not fresh-faced onboarding people. You're here with us. You're the veterans, and at this time of year, you're very much the hardcore crowd. I would say you are the hardcorest crowd I've ever seen, because this is the quietest I've ever seen it. There's been, like, look at the last 3 weeks. Almost, I guess they've dropped a patch and some little hot fixes, but realistically, even the patch itself was pretty light. Like, they gutted Siege of Origin out of it, which is on the test servers. And I have had a chance to go in and look at it. To my point, it's just quiet. Have you ever seen it this quiet, Algared? To your knowledge, you can think of? I know we've had some quiet years, but this is up there.
I really think the feeling of quietness is because it's the last stages of polish or whatever. For the October event, whether it's the publicity saying, hey, it's coming in X, this is the actual launch date, or whether it's actually the launch date.
I think also, Swift Werewolf is saying, it's also a very common time of year for staff to take their holidays. I think that's also why it feels a bit quiet, because there's not many people at the studio. They're on like a 2-week vacation or something. So,
well,
a message there from George Smith, who says, "Thank you for the content." Well, you're welcome. Thank you, George, for the super chat for me. There we go. Thank you, George. Always appreciated. Never expected.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciated, though.
It said it's $5 American, so that'll feed us for like 3 weeks here in Australia at the current exchange rate.
Yep.
would be good.
Woohoo!
You know, it's really strange to think back. Like I know we talk about the game here, but also to look at what's happened in the world in the last 5-6 years. It's just crazy what's happening.
Oh,
Like just the way everything's gone. We we kind of had an abundancy of things 5-6 years ago before COVID, and it's just
well, go back even further. Back in 2012,
yeah.
that $5 super chat wouldn't have fed us at all because back then our dollar was so much better than the American.
But Australian dollar was
Now,
a lot higher.
now it's the complete reverse.
Yeah.
But and back then it did feel like we were part of a team because of that interaction and constant. Almost every day you could log in and you'd see the staff in the studio talking live on their lunch break, and answering questions and doing everything. And the chat streams were always just active, and the community was small. Everything was different. But now community is so much bigger. The staff team is so much bigger, and that closeness just can't exist.
It's a shame they don't have a couple of full-time employees just to keep doing what they were doing back then. That would be really cool to keep having those daily things. I know even if you look at Jared as an example, his job has kind of evolved and title has changed over. It would be nice to have someone that could keep up those daily interactions and live streams, and maybe if they just did 5 questions, try to get some cool ones out. It was really cool to have those reactions, and I can see why they don't. It just looking for. It had a personal touch to it, and like you said, it made you feel like you were a part of everyday development and stuff like that. And we know how it got ruined. Like you and I have talked about it before, the freelance thing, and it all kind of started to go downhill from there.
But even with that, just the growth of the company itself.
Yeah.
Just make that getting a team to come together at a lunch break and chat.
Well, again,
makes it hard.
They're trying to get more people back under one roof at Manchester, so it would be possible type of thing. But you wouldn't be able to go like run out and grab John Crew on a daily. You wouldn't be able to go to run out and grab the head of any of the departments or something like that. That's my point. But it would just be really cool to have these people that that daily touch was really cool to have. And I know I'm probably grasping at straw. But
well, that daily stream they used to do was, as I understood it, was their lunch break. During their downtime, they'd be streaming, and people who were free would come along and join in, and it was that kind of family, almost family affair.
They have a room you could do that from, which is that where you and I have that photo we took. That great looking food place. They could have like a little booth there that people could go eat their lunch and just talk to people. Kind of cool, developers just come in and out if they wanted to. I don't know.
But I imagine the problem with that type of thing is just the background noise you'd end up getting. So
again, if you put it in a little room, again, it's the cost and things like that. I know I'm.
We're dreaming.
We're dreaming.
We're dreaming. We're looking back to those halcyon days and going, wouldn't it be great too? And it's just one of those things that it just shows the development, the change in the system, over time. But you're right. Back then, every day, just something new, and there was heaps to talk about and heaps to show, and even if let's give a sneak peek, and Ben would draw a picture, literally. We were on outline Ben, and there you go. There's the new ship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
So Twitch drop. Ooh, that Foundation Festival Twitch drop. That's so awesome.
Yeah. Coming next week from July 29th through to August 12th. So instead of the regular Foundation Festival, it seems to be a Twitch drop this year. Just trying to find exactly what it entails. And I'm going to have to go through these 10 questions to do that. But for what I'm seeing in the photo, I'm going to, before I go read this, I'm going to make the assumption that this is this, you're just getting the skin and you're getting this banner cube from 5 years ago. And I think this was meant to be exclusive at the time when they gave this away. So if they're giving this away, they're probably going to end up going through the other things as well.
Well, I'll be honest. If that is the exclusive thing they were giving away, I'm really happy because there shouldn't be anything. You know, it's one of those things you've always said. There's nothing exclusive. Everything you can get in game, and I like that idea of not having the the tall, having things that are unique. And as one of those people who do have a lot of those.
Oh wow!
Things.
Okay, I just read what it said there. You get the skin for watching for 4 hours, which is a long time for just a skin, for an ATLS, and it's similar to an ATLS skin that I have already. There's an all silver one, so this is just silver, and essentially the legs are teal, as you can see. But the banner cube, you've got to get that by subscribing to someone. So that's gonna that changes the game a little bit.
So if I'm already subscribed, it doesn't count.
Yeah, you'd have to pay, and it's a paid subscription, so it's not a Prime one. And I think in Australian dollars, so working out the currency conversion for the American, it's about $9 for us. I think it's $6 American. Somebody in Twitch chat can correct me on that. I believe that's the current exchange rate. I have no way of looking it up, so it's easy to. Well, I could Google it, I guess, but it'd be easy just to Americans. What's the current subscription rate on Twitch, guys? I think it's $5.99 or something like that, or $5.95 or something. Which I've subscribed to a few people over the years. I think it's currently $8.99 for you and me.
Yep.
I don't know what that is in
about $9,
in pound and stuff, but I'm sure some people will drop it in Twitch chat and I'll read this. Wake up, Twitch chat. Talking to you. Hello. This thing isn't even on. I think they just listen to us and fall asleep. They do.
Citizen Ninjas dropping a few questions and
£5 UK, £4.99 UK. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at it, it's almost double for us at the moment. That's how crazy it is. And it's always been that way. Yeah. Swift Werewolf, it's the same for me. Yeah. So there's people on YouTube replying. How bad the people on Twitch are.
But dude, come on, in fairness, the Twitch folk did respond. I would just.
Yep.
I'll put it down to the lag issue. Yeah.
$8 Canadian. Okay. Yep. Well, currently we've only got 2 questions, by the way, in the bank. So once we finish talking here, this is going to be a very short stream this week.
Maybe what we could do if it ends up being that short is just get in game and do. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd love to be able to get and show you the tech preview, but it's down at the moment. Plus, I'm not allowed to stream it. But I can talk about it.
Well, I could get into a check preview and we could do stuff in there, but
no.
Then you guys get behind.
Citizen Ninja asks question: do gifted subs count? I believe they do, so you can give them to other people and stuff like that. Usually that's how it works. It's a gifted sub or you subscribe yourself.
Now Spike's trying to preempt us, and he says, "Give me the basher now," and the video is done.
Oh,
Spike is left out of the draw. Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, we do have to give the bash away. Thanks for reminding me. Totally forgot about that. Didn't organise that in advance or anything. Thanks. Cool. Thanks for reminding me, Spike, of another thing I fucked up. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yep. Just another thing to add to the stress file.
Spike.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's the problem.
I say that. I've actually won once. Went to a Bar Citizen and won the Guardian.
Well, Algared, when we went to CitizenCon, because we were at all those Bar Citizens, I actually won twice.
Yes, lucky.
I think I ran a Cutlass Red and a Freelancer Dur or something like that when we went to CitizenCon, so that was pretty funny.
I know.
There was only 14 people at the first night, so that kind of upped the odds a lot. And
the second one you won, that was more special because there were a lot more people. But the first one, everyone was in with a very high chance of winning, and
Yeah. When there's only
But yeah,
14 people, and I think they had like 5 ships or something away, and there's only like 14 people, so it was like, yeah, it was in, like with a 50% chance.
everyone was likely a
Yeah.
50-50 chance.
Yeah, you were
But
unlucky not to win.
I was unlucky because I missed
Yeah.
out every 50-50. But
Mm.
then that Australian bar citizen, where I got the
Mm.
Guardian,
Mm.
that was the first I've ever won.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was quite nice.
I'll put that in the chat too. Can you be swayed by the $5 subscription or $9 if you're an Australian to spend to subscribe to someone to get a Banner Cube? I'll put that out there. And the other thing I'll ask as well, when they do ask for subscription things for games that I go for, do me a favor. This is what I do, right? So I'll show you. This is like if I were, even if I was doing this for Star Citizen, this is going to sound really weird. Agri's probably not going to agree, but I'm going to do it because this is what I do, right? So say whatever the game is, but we'll just do Star Citizen, right? You get all these people up here, and these people up here will have hundreds of subs up the top. I go right down the bottom, and I find someone that is streaming with like a really small amount of viewers, and you see how long they've been streaming, and they've been streaming for like a really long time or something like that, and that's who I subscribe to.
Yeah, I do similar things.
Yeah, because like they value it so much more than someone way up the top. Someone at the top might not even read your name out, and it's not about reading the name or anything. It's about supporting someone that's at the bottom and bringing them up. So I'd probably try and do the same thing here again as well.
It ties in with the I think it's not surprising we do a similar thing because it's similar to the way we've always looked at this channel of working collaboratively with others who are similar ideas but maybe smaller and helping build the community up. And because I think the more there are putting out good stuff, the better is in the long term.
If you've got a reoccurring sub to someone, obviously you can just let it ride, and that'll give you your Banner Cube or whatever. But if you're going to subscribe just for that 1 month, like a non-recurring sub, just give your money to someone that's going to appreciate it. You'll be surprised how I've seen how excited some people get. I rock up to some random game. I think the last one I subscribed for because I wanted this. That sounds stupid.
You wanted a skin, didn't you?
I can't do it at the moment because I'm logged in as Infra. Oh no, actually I'm logged in as Execute. I wanted this little chat thing. That's for 007. Hey, look, it's Streamception. Right. This is just gonna get worse and worse. Look, see how many of them we can get. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted this little bond thing. And yeah, to get that little bond thing, I had to subscribe to someone that was doing 007 First Light. And so I just went down the list and looked at a couple of people and then found someone I liked and then they got really excited. Yeah.
And I think people who stream and who don't get many subscribers, it is exciting for them.
Yeah.
It is. Wow, someone new watching me and they actually subscribed. And you get it because I know we're the same. We get a $5 super chat, and it really does.
Yeah. We don't do this for the money though. We never have. We've always done. Well, look at this, Algared. Compared to us, we stream once a week, and we'll get what 50 to 100 people somewhere in there on Twitch as an example. But there's people there that'll stream every day and they'll get one viewer. So, anything that motivates people. But I'll share that. I think that
100%.
Yeah.
No, I was totally going to repeat what you just said, just in my own long-winded fashion.
Yep. So yeah, just to show how much of a dry week it is, that is basically the news since last week. The Twitch drops and this week in Star Citizen, and I'll just show you how dry it is. It literally has this week in Star Citizen for Monday. maintenance on Tuesday, and then today the RSI newsletter is meant to be out, and I
So
couldn't
we're
even,
waiting for the newsletter because hey, that's the news.
I couldn't. Again, that'll just be jump point or whatever. So yeah, it'll be just how did they make the basher or something like that, essentially.
Well, there's often a lore article, but to kind of supposedly flesh out the world and give you that sense of what's going on and stuff. But
Oh,
sometimes
go ahead.
sometimes that now feels a bit because so often you just feel that the lore just gets swept aside. And yeah, for me that's a travesty. Because the lore, for me, and I'm sure for someone like Paul, the lore undergirds the story. It gives you that sense of history and depth and everything else. It's like what makes Lord of the Rings such a great book. It's all the appendices at the back that give you that, because you've got that story and you've got those appendices, you've got that sense of depth of lore and history. Adds to the story.
Yeah. Mike's not wrong. He says even the sneak peek this month is weak, and I have to agree because we saw this like a month ago. And the tagline is "Say hello to my little friend." So they just sent the minigun as a sneak peek. That's how quiet it is. There's nothing to report. So I do think the original. If you heard what they said, the Bar Citizen that was about a month or so ago, the Basher and whatever's coming next was swapped. And I firmly believe the next ship that's coming is the Stingray. There is Stingray stuff in the files that are sitting there, and I can't remember who I was talking to about that. Otherwise, I'd bring the images up. Oh, actually, I do remember who it was. It was Chris and Grim, I think, in our little... Yeah, here it is. So you would have seen these, Algared. I showed you these a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. No, we talked about these as well. You said, what is that? And my first thought was, P72 to 52.
Yeah. So this is all in the files. It's not there's not a lot to go on. But there's some, some seats and stuff, and they're really not that different from the Wolf ones, but they are a little bit modified. Which is kind of where you would start if you were doing the next ship up. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, but I could be completely wrong. So take that all with a grain of salt.
Although, if you just look at that seat, you can see if that is the seat for a Stingray, that is a straight fighter. Yeah, because it's got an ejection seat.
Yep. My expectation is it's a medium fighter. Just go the next size up. That seems to be what they're doing with Kruger. If it's not a medium fighter, then it's probably a heavy fighter. Which the only other way we've seen them do that is that, it was said from worst to best. That seems to be how they really. But they also do try a little bit of differentiation in how they release things sometimes. So, and there's some other screenshots around that show you the essentially, it kind of roughly shows you the side of the ship based on the engine effects of the Stingray, and it's a little bit longer than the Wolf, but not by much. So yeah, if I could find those again, I would. But again, it was a couple of months ago, so I'll go back and see if I can find why you're talking. Go ahead.
But I look at that. I see the ejection seat handle down between the legs, and I go, okay, that's not a ship that's got an interior like the Queen Amidala's cruiser type arrangement with, or a Connie size version coming from Kruger. And in a sense, I think it kind of makes sense. I would love to see Kruger make a Connie size.
Yeah. So these are the Stingray thrusters. There is a screenshot somewhere of a person laying next to them, and the person is a little longer than this type of thing. So
now,
this is kind of the
picture there.
This kind of the effect of the thrusters, and this is the thruster itself.
That previous one with the kind of disc around the middle. It just reminded me of that one. Just reminds me of a Vulcan ship.
Yeah, but this is just the effects basically, Algared. It's
Yep.
not actually.
Yep.
You got to
So-
remember there'll be a lot of transparency
Yep.
to this. You wouldn't really see most.
Yep. They're just
but-
setting the guard,
Yeah.
the circle barriers to that. Yeah.
Yep.
But-
Um,
First thought was that's a Vulcan ship, even though it's not.
the other thing that I'm sure some people have probably seen by now is much like when the your Munda, whatever the hell they're calling, the Valakai came in. We're seeing the same essentially leaked models here of the space whales, and I can confirm from what I've seen in the tech preview that these things are swirling around and stuff above horizon, usually in groups of 3. They look pretty cool, but they don't really do a lot. They just kind of exist.
Right.
They don't really feel big enough to fly up and land on. Yeah, that much.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that there's probably like a
Well-
you know how they had the Valakar in different sizes?
Yep.
I'd assume over time maybe there's like a big one, like a female or a male, that is the real big one.
I was going to say the fact that they're twirling and doing all those little things, it's probably the juveniles, and we'll give it different sizes. And I look forward to we've talked about in the past the different characteristics depending on what's going on. How do they attack? How do they defend? How do they? And I look forward to seeing them decide to go ballistic on somebody.
Yeah.
And the adult turn up and do massive damage to a ship just because it rams it.
The other thing I was testing was actually, yeah. Oh, I probably shouldn't play. Okay. There's videos of them flying around though. If you want to go out there and look for it, I just don't like to play other people's videos because they tend to, how do I put this, error out and cause our streams to get monetized and stuff. There are some other Foundation Festival stuff here as well. So these are again the leaky type stuff. So these are Foundation Festival Oxes. There's 2 Aurora ones and a Salvation. So all kind of look at that. They're all starters, 2 profession starters, and being the Salvation and both the Oxes. So I guess you could say 3, and 2 Auroras, which would be the default Aurora and then a moduled Aurora, as far as I could tell.
Well,
And the Atlas.
I can't say that's a bad thing. If Foundation Festival is to encourage new people to come in and play the game.
Yep.
Put skins with the ships that they're likely going to be buying to get in the game.
Yeah. There has to be
Makes
something
sense.
else going on besides the Twitch drops though, because why would they have skins there for other Aurora ships if there's not something going on? I think, I don't know, the level of ships there tells me there's some kind of free fly event. Aurora,
I would
Ox, and Salvation, that sounds like a free fly to me.
I would expect at Foundation event it to be a free. That's the idea: bring new people in, get them playing, help them out. And so you do that. You put those skins on either the game packs for new people, so you have starter packs, discounted starter packs or just same starter pack with a limited skin that pops for that sale.
So they've also got these other skins that are kind of like black and gold, which very similar to the Hurston ones from last year. There's a little difference between both the Ox ones, not by much. One's got more yellow, one's got same size. So you can kind of see there a little bit more yellow on the Ox and a little less on the normal. But basically these are for Battalia on the test server. So if you do, I've been doing this is where I've been doing the bulk of my testing are on these new mining missions. And so they start out with scanning and mining particular rocks. usually the mission's been giving me 1 iron and 2 aluminium. There's some weird quirks at the moment. Like, so for example, you've got you've got to scan the rock to find it. So it's 2 separate missions. One's scanning, the other is mining. But the mining one's really weird because you've got to not only at least mine some of the aluminium or mine some of the iron, you also have to break up every single rock that's there. You can't just take the aluminium and go. You've got to destroy every single rock for it to count towards the mission. Really strange. So you've actually got to sit there with your laser and essentially overcharge the ones that you don't want. A little weird. A little weird to me in that regard. So that's something I hope they fix. But other
I
than that,
suppose you could always.
go ahead.
I was going to say, I suppose you could always gather everything.
Yes,
Other
you
than just
could, but
destroying it.
but generally speaking, they're designed for the golem. I would say, being a
And they've
target.
got very limited space.
Yeah. So again, I did them in the golem. I tried it in the prospector. The other thing that they've done that is really, really bizarre on the live servers, I don't know if you've picked up on this because you've got every ship, but how long have I had a prospector loaner for? Think about that, like forever. They've actually removed the prospector as the loaner for the Arastra and the Orion. So it's just the mole now. Where it used to be the mole and the prospector, it is now just the mole. And I think the reason for doing this is they've automated a lot of stuff on the website. So you know how CDaddy had to manually update stuff when he worked at CIG? There now, that there was a post that came out, I'll see if I can find it, only a little bit ago. And it kind of explains probably why they let him go, because he was doing everything manually. Is it's now going to
tools.
it's all going to be updated manually, straight from the game. So the reason why they don't do 2 anymore is it just does 1. So this is a part of the automated process. They've essentially automated CDaddy's job, and that's why he's gone.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like you listen to what he used to talk about in terms of setting things up, and it was like a nightmarish job.
Yep.
And you thought, why don't wherever tools to make it easier? So the questions of wherever tools to make the job easier.
Yeah.
So you listened and created the tools to make the job easier.
Yeah. And then we lost
so
one of
much
our
easier.
best, though.
It wasn't needed. But yeah.
Still, it sucks.
It does.
I hope he lands on his feet. To be honest. Yeah. That's just about everything I can go through. The only other stuff there, on those skins is I guess I can show the other ones real quick. There are a couple others.
Yep.
So they have one for the mole. They have one for the Fury, weirdly enough. I don't know why they've got a Fury one, because not enough people own it. And then they've also got a Prospector one, which I think is probably the coolest of the lot, to be honest with you. But they are
nice.
very reminiscent to me of the Hurston ones. I think they've just taken the Hurston skin and smacked it on other vehicles, basically. You tell me any different, Algared?
I was just going to say that does not that Prospector skin black at the nose just remind you of a Predator?
What Predator are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Not Predator, Alien.
Oh, right. That makes a big difference, Algared. You can't. It's like saying.
It does.
It's like saying. Does that look like Bert, or does that look like Big Bird? There's a big difference between the two. You can't just use people from the same kind of franchise. It's like saying, is it Algared or is it Execute? There was a big difference between the two. You just confuse people.
That's right.
Yeah, you're also delulu. Right. Anyway, I'm gonna be honest. I still think the best skin for the Prospector is this one, which is the one that I rock all the time. You'll find it, and it was an event skin. It was this one, the Outcast skin. I think that was the best one they've done.
One of the better ones. I usually just bought the standard, but then that's because
Oh, that reminds me of a thing. It's a picture of Agent Smith from the Matrix, and it says something like "Hail Megatron." I can't remember the other thing. Pete saying Spock was the best Jedi. He just likes triggering people, but it was something
Thanks,
about
Pete.
it was
Love your
like
support.
yeah, it was like tagged Lord Elron, and it said "Hail Megatron," and it's like Agent Smith, and I love ones like that really, and then I've seen ones with what's his face, Patrick Stewart, and it's like references like all the like try to put all the different franchises together and really trigger people. Pretty funny. But yeah, again, this might be my favorite skin. Who's there's arguing with me? Parker's arguing with me. But yeah, that's the thing. I want as many skins as possible so everyone can find their favorite. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So even though, you know, this gold one might rip off the Hurston one, those Hurston ones were exceedingly popular. That's why they won the vote. Simple.
Yep.
And you got to remember,
well, you know,
that's also why this feels like a lull period, because we would have had Siege of Origin right now. That's what it was designed for. The lull period.
I just think, you know, it's clearly that those new skins are just showing the reach of Hurston. Wow.
Well, think back to last
can I
year,
say?
Algared. We had that really bugged out cargo event.
Yep.
Where
Yep.
these skins were from. And there wasn't so much of a lull period because there was shit to do.
Yep.
It's the same thing. You can tell Siege of Origin was meant to be here right now, but shit went wrong. So obviously, you know, when 4.10 drops, I'd probably say if it's already on the test servers right now, I'd be expecting in the next 3 weeks, like as the Foundation Festival is kicking off, there'll also be a Siege of Origin.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. As Robert says in Twitch, the Hurston ones are S tier. I'd agree. I can't, you know, I can't disagree that the Hurston skins are the best skins.
You're not biased at all, are you?
I'm not biased. It's better than the skins from the Frozen Wasteland or the Pie in the Sky Airy stuff.
We have to talk about that. They were the worst just because of how they were done. They were basically a lot of the default skins with like green in them. The Spirit one was shocking. It was basically the default Spirit skin, but instead of saying like C1 Spirit in black, it was in green. That was it.
Yep.
But the Crusader ones were pretty nice. I would have just made
delusional. I would say that.
I would have just made the Microtech ones light blue instead of white. I think that would have solved it. Like invert them basically.
Light blue with the highlight of green with the Microtech logo. Yeah.
Yeah, just Microtech just lose out because of that. But again, why can't you have multiple colors? So for example, you know how the Hurston ones were like black with mainly gold. Wouldn't they also have some ones that are gold with a little bit of black? You know what I'm saying? So you could have done. You could have had a couple of variations from Microtech. Is my point? You know, you've got the green, the cyan or the teal, whatever you want to call it, and the white. We'll just do some variations of that. Also do some different patterns. If they've only got shitty colors, give them some patterns that the others don't have, or something like that. That's how I would have done it. But it was not a fair playing field. It really wasn't.
No, look, you look at you know, Hurston would have skins at the worker ships, and then skins at the executive set. No, it would be no different.
Yeah.
At Microtech, it'd be no different. You know, so you could have different levels for where you go. You know, whether you're just a worker, a programmer, or an executive.
Yeah, but they were never going to win based on the way the skins looked, because Microtech was just white and ArtCorp was the maroon. And so it was always going to come down to, before it started, I always knew it was going to be Hurston or Crusader. And I was surprised how much Microtech rallied. They just wanted to win because a lot of people like Microtech, right? They were never going to win based on the look of this. No, that was set up to fail. They were the, if you get the reference, they were the Atreides. And Harkonnen took the thing.
Look, I think the other thing that really pushed Hurston up ahead was the fact that the winner of the competition, the ships purchased at that planet
Mm.
got a 5% discount, and Hurston had the best ship.
Mm.
The ship sale
Well,
room.
yeah, there is no ship sale room. Well, Arcot would have been the second choice there, wouldn't there? So yeah, and I'd have to say New Deal's probably got a better list of ships than
Yep.
yeah.
And so I think that the fact that New Deal was the better place to buy ships gave it a push, because that 5% discount meant, hey, it's cheaper to buy ships in game and buy more ships in game.
So the lesson here, Algared, is if someone comes along, and because you're the grandfather of Conan, and they say, "Hello, grandfather," you're going to be dead. So just be ready, all right?
I'll be careful.
Do you get the reference? No? Okay. There's actually a reference for today's show, by the way. And if anyone can work it out, I might have to give them something. I don't know what I'll give them. But there is a reference for
Follow the
today's show.
Foundation Festival's
No. The title of today's show.
Something I don't have. Yeah.
The title of today's show. Anyway. I did it as a reference. No one's brought it up. So I guess nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about, but it's okay. I've got to create up some I've said this before. Do you know how just the title of this show after 1,000 episodes? It's bloody hard. New things is not easy, especially in a lull period. So yeah. I am. But by the way,
one called Samo.
Yeah. The last. I remember that one. The last Dune movie is at the end of the year. I am looking forward to that. I don't know. Not everyone's a big Dune person. But obviously, you know, the Aurora did pay homage to that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good to see John in chat. I hope you're doing well, John. I haven't catched up with John. I do have to catch up with John. John, we're gonna have to go do those mining events for the Battagula when 4.10 drops. So get your mining ship back together. I've been doing some mining for Silurium? Getting out doing the scanning numbers again and stuff. Actually pretty good at it. When I know what the numbers are, I'm very good at finding things. I think that's because of you, John. I had John luck the other day. I went out and I found one rock. First one I found was like 91,000 at 870% or something, and then literally without even moving, I scanned and found another one, and it was a 30k one. So I found two really big rocks with really high mass above 800 in a very small space, worth a fair bit of money. The first one, the crappy Silurium, was still worth like 350 mil. That was good. Yeah, I do want to get John in to do some mining stuff as well, so we'll have to get him along for an episode. I think again, it's been too long.
Certainly a session where we play. Take out a mole.
Yeah. Well, I've had orgs reach out to me that want to play with John, so I might have to talk to John about if he wants to go around and make some friends. I'll if he wants to, but he might not want to. Up to John. Yeah. Oh shit! So, Parker worked it out. Parker got it straight away. Shit! Parker got the reference. Good on you, Parker. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Parker. Good job. No one else paid attention. Parker got it at one. He's not asleep. He's awake. Yeah, it's a reference to me shaving. That's exactly what it was. Good job, Parker.
Our question is, did you have a haircut?
No, I didn't have a haircut. I cut my own hair and shaved my own beard and stuff. I've done that since I'm trying to think of the last time I went to a hairdresser. It's pretty rare. I think I went and got like a full beard and that done probably 10 years ago. When I went to the Philippines, I got that. It's really cheap to get like a shaver and a haircut and stuff. So I did that while I was there.
The last time I went was in France.
Yep. Yeah, you do it when you're on holiday, don't you?
Getting food.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's nice just to sit there and have a good shave and you have a talk to them too. I don't know if you talked to them, but I talked to them. I had a great chin wag with my.
Oh, they were French, so it was.
Well, I was in the Philippines. They were fine. But it's about 250 pesos. I'm trying to work that out in Australian dollars. That's probably Uh, yeah, $30. It'd be about $8. You know,
Now,
and that's
but
like full haircut, full shave with the old school scraper one. You know, like so yeah, like it's quite relaxing. You know, they like steam your face and all that with the towels, the whole 9 yards, like the full thing
yep,
for $8 or $9. Takes like about probably 45 minutes. It's not a short affair, but for $8, that's cheap as hell. Yeah,
yep, hell yeah,
you
hell yeah.
know,
Now,
a
Spike's
shave or a subscription on YouTube. I'll take the shave, thanks.
yep, but Spike doesn't have it wrong. 1967, the last time I had my hair done. 1967, my hair was like this because I was like newborn.
He looked like what's that guy? The art guy. What's the guy's name? Ross. Something Ross. Go Ross. You know the guy? Someone will say in a minute. Yeah, the cutthroat razor. That's the one, John. Yeah. But he looked like that art guy Ross. Or is it? Let's see if I can go back here. Go with this. Ross art guy. Yeah, this guy. That's what you look like, Algared. This guy. Yeah.
Oh no, back in 67.
Yeah, looks just like that. Looks
newborn.
like a microphone.
So
Bob Ross, that's the one. Yeah, Bob Ross.
Much more handsome back then. Well, much more cuter because I was like a baby. Anyway,
you missed my hint. There wasn't a hint. Hint? What are you talking about? A hint?
No.
You had to work it out on your own, and Parker worked it out straight away. The hint was the title of the episode. Was it something like?
Yeah. So Sandcrapper's saying he missed understanding your hint.
Oh, it was clear. It was. I can't even read because I can't see the title. Something like hot, cleared, and cold. And it was because the first day I shaved, I went with my mum for lunch, and we went down. There's a place here called the Seaport, and God, it was windy. I'm going bloody oath, it's cold. My face blanket's gone, and I'm face is freezing.
Yeah, mate. Even I notice it when with the little hair I've got on the head. Once if I let it grow and then shave it. It's amazing how much your hair.
I should feel for the women out there, can't they? They can't grow the face blankets, the poor things. You know, they're obviously made for the warmer weather. We're made for the colder weather. So, you know.
Well, clearly they're just not used because they don't know what it's like. They don't know what they're missing. So for them, it's just normal. So it's okay.
Yeah. Oh,
yes, and Piss Paul Pete did put a Bob Ross as an emote. Yes, he did.
You know what I've got to now? Whenever they ask me, why haven't you shaved or whatever, I always just turn around to them and say, why haven't you? And then I get slapped. I don't know why, but this is what happens.
Yeah, especially if you're talking to women.
Yeah.
You're asking to get slapped if you say that to them.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, well, we've only got about 15 questions here, but we're going to go through them. We've somehow managed to eat up 50 minutes without talking about nothing.
Without even, we're just talking the, yep. Yes, and some women in the UK have glorious beards, and some people who choose to identify with women as women have great beards as well.
If you've got any question at all today, I think we'll open it up, and because we're in a lull period, we won't just do Star Citizen stuff. But if you've got other questions or something you want to talk about, we'll just open it up a little bit today. If you guys feel like talking about other stuff, other games, try and not do religion or politics. That's always a good one, because they tend to people off and they turn into people like this. So if you've got any other questions for me, Algared, that you'd like to hear our opinions on, please feel free to expand. But try and stay away from the topic. Right, Algared, take it away.
Right, our first question is from George Smith. George Smith says, will the sneak peek?
Algared, are you pissing yourself? That's what it sounds like. Are you pissing? Oh, yeah, sure. He's just leaky. Now he's muted himself somehow. Yeah, right.
Popping up probably because my water bottle went in front of the
microphone. Yeah.
No, I needed to hydrate. Really important for your voice.
Yeah, this is
Keep
true.
your voice hydrated.
That's
your
why we've
vocal
always
cords
got to drink.
hydrated
Yeah, that's why we've both
when
always,
you're talking a lot.
why we've both always got to drink nearby. Anyway, will the sneak peek be on the Scrub store or the monthly bundle? Like, I'm gonna be honest. I actually think that if that hasn't been set up for sales of stuff, I would be absolutely bewildered. To be honest with you, I'd be expecting both.
I wouldn't be. I would be surprised not to see that on the sale. The only question I've got is that a Grey's Market revamp of a weapon, or is it a new weapon? Like a proper new weapon, not a rework. And it looks too new to be a Grey's Market.
Can I
in
be
my
honest
opinion.
with you? Now I'm kind of looking at it more closely. You correct me if I'm wrong here, but notice how there's a white tinge to the helmet. There's also white down, well, I guess it's this shoulder for the viewers, right?
Yep.
And then there's also almost looks like to be white across the top of the barrel as well. So I'd almost say that is not the one that I've seen in the tech preview. The one in the tech preview was basically black. So that confirms to me that there are other versions of this suit, and then I would, like we've seen with every set of gear that has come along, one of them's gone into a bundle. So I'd be willing to bet money based on what you're saying there, George, that yeah, there'll be a bundle for this thing, and it'll probably come next. What is it? The first Tuesday of every month. So, what's that? 2 weeks time. We'll see. I guess.
Yep.
But as soon as I saw this suit, I went, "Oh, that's a license to print money," because as soon as that comes out, people are like, "Well, do I have to go out and get the suit, or do I just buy it and I get it in, and then I can always have it?" And that's what'll happen. And they'll just. I'd also say, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it'd probably be bundled with a really weak ship skin, as in a ship that they don't give a shit about.
Yep. Or a ship that nobody else cares about, but Sergio would like you to buy.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. If I was to bundle this with a ship, I would bundle it with something that, you know, because I can imagine some doing this with like a bunker run. Could you? So I'd bundle it with a ship that's good for bunker running, right? So, this is me thinking of the last 12 months, thinking of a ship that we haven't seen in a bundle yet. You tell me if you think I'm wrong in this decision. You feel free, because it's just an opinion. But I'd make it for the Clipper. That's the one I would do. Good generalist ship, good for bunker running. Hasn't had a bundled skin before, and that ship has been what, over, come out in the last year, wasn't it? So yeah, you could do, you could do one of the medical ships as well, like a Cuddy Red or a Pisces. But I think the Clipper is really made for bunker runnings. Algared?
Yeah, no, it sounds okay. The other thing I could see for that would be different skin bundled with different starter ships, and so each starter ship kind of has a different.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Especially if it's coming out close to or in Foundation Festival.
Yeah, I can
But
see
yeah, the
that.
bunker run idea works. But yeah,
But again, I think the skins are for more long-term running people, not the new people that turn up. And I think when you've already got something for the new people in the Foundation Festival, you do need something for the more long-term. That said, though, I can see new people seeing this as well. So maybe you're right. Maybe they do need something that has broad appeal. You know, what'd be really nice is whatever the ship is, that if it was actually for sale, you know, because some of the skins, like the Fury one, I don't even. Forget me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do release them. Let's go back and have a look.
but some of the bundles in the past were you had to get everything.
Yeah,
couldn't buy them separately, and I think they did change that a little bit to make it you could buy the bits and pieces. But at least I hope they did.
yeah. Okay, so they did have the Fury available at the time. Fair enough. But
So
yeah, I'm never going to pay $55 for a snub and not have LTI. Like, it's just,
gosh, no, that's insane.
yeah. I know it is. All right, next one, Algared, when you're ready.
Citizen Ninja has a question that we've kind of dealt with already. He says, which ships do you think will get Foundation Festival paint?
Yeah, I did hit that one ahead of the queue, but I just didn't tick it. My bad. So we can just move on. To
And then he did ask a question already because we did ask. He said, "Do give subs count?"
Oh, that's the one I did. Sorry. Which ships do you think will get the Foundation Festival paints? Well, we did go through that. Look, I'll show them on screen. It'll be easier. I didn't actually show them, did I? I just talked about it. Way I can. No, I did show them. I swear I showed them.
At least at least you showed them to me. So
yeah. Well, hang on. If I
assumed you showed them to
everyone. If I do this in a tricky way, Algared, watch this. I'll do it in a tricky way. I'm going to send this to you on Discord. Right. I've got to look for the bald head. There it is. I'll send that to you. And then I open that. And then bang. Do it to there. And then I can do all of them at the same time. There we go. Bang. So there's the Foundation Festival skins. We did talk about them. That's all of them.
Yeah, but I think you showed them all individually for the first time. But
I did. But this is a better way to show them, yeah?
It is.
And I could probably, if I'm really clever, I could go back and do that with the, I should have just done this the first time. I'm a genius in retrospect. And there's the Battalion ones as well. But yeah, there's, no, do any of those Foundation Festival ones of interest to you, Algared?
It's those Foundation Festival ones are too teal. They're too.
Well, it's the first one we've seen for the Salvation and the Aurora. It's the first time they've got skins. So, yeah.
But like we were saying with the Microtech skins, when that would have been a much better look for a Microtech skin.
Yeah, but this is again, this
that
is the
type of color scheme, and
yeah. You got to. The other thing that doesn't stand out on these ones is you got to remember that the other main color is just a plain metallic chrome. So where they look actually white is actually a chrome. That's just the lighting. So yeah, they will look kind of cool. Yeah, the teal kind of kills it for me personally. Yeah, I minimized. Yeah, then as I said, yeah, just the Battalion ones. Yeah. All right. Next question, Algared, when you're ready.
Yep, the next question is from Demon Wolf. 85X. Do you think it will have a difficult time ending up in the top 4 versus the Raelian, Hull, B, Ironclad, etc., etc.?
No, I don't think it will. I think most people have the right intention. We want every ship in the game to have a skin. This is the last one that doesn't have one. It doesn't have to win it, but in the top 4. And I think what it'll be interesting is next year. What are we going to do? I think we go. You know what? I think we go back to the PTV because they promised a skin for the PTV.
A skin,
and it's been like 4 years and they haven't done it. Slack. So if you don't want the PVT next year, John, if you're watching this in some clip or hate thread, whatever it is, or going off at me, yeah, PTV, bro, that'd be great.
Yeah, PTV. That's a John Crew, not John Citizen.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do a free skin, make it a good one. Like like I'd like a one of the how they have the kind of the black with the gold concierge type one. That's the one I think you should give for free. Really nice one because I think we earned it waiting for so long.
And one which I would look, I give it that's like the F8 for the concierge, where the skin color flows into the cockpit, so uniform the whole way through.
Yeah. Just a personal request. If you don't have to agree with me, but in chat, let me know this as well. You know how you get like fuzzy dice you hang on a car? I think it would be good to have one as Ben's head and one as John's head, and that's what hangs on the PTV. But that's just me, and they just clank the clanker as you drive along. I reckon that'd be kind of cool. As a sorry for taking so long. I think that'd be fair. Yeah,
and it puts them forever in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit of kudos for them. Immortalization.
Yeah. So when you put the skin on, you can also put a little flare on that's just John and Ben's head that goes, and they just got like owl looks on their face, like owl, because they're clanking together. Yeah. Like, or not like truck nuts. No, like like fuzzy, where the fuzzy dice sits, but they kind of clank together.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're starting to sound a lot like truck
Not
nuts.
cool.
They are starting to sound like truck nuts, but that's not how I meant them. I meant them as like fuzzy dice things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew where you went. Not
Yeah.
not the Demon Wolf. That was Demon Wolf's question.
Yeah.
Hellspire. What does the lockbox do?
Actually, there is a real Banner Cube in game, and that is like a puzzle box. But this is just a replica. It literally does nothing. So for $8, like I've got it in game. Like if we run out of questions or whatever, I'll load up in game and show you. It's lit. I have to find it too, like within the myriad of shit we've got. But it's literally
buried in the inventory.
It's just a box that you can rotate around and inspect. It looks really cool, but it is just a highly detailed box.
There is a brand new puzzle box in game. So yeah.
But again, just a replica. But it was the first exclusive. Those little things that you get at those CIG events are the only real exclusives. And again, they don't do anything. They're just like a little flair item. I think what was on last year, the Vandal holographic skull, but they also had a Vandal skull as the monthly flair. So if you think about it, they just take the real skull and put a 3D holographic effect on it, and that's how they had the one for that year. Right. So,
Joypop.
Yeah.
Thank you for that tier 1 subscription.
Yeah, thanks, Joypop. In for a bit. All right.
Always nice to feel appreciated and loved and all that other stuff. So thank you.
I wouldn't know what that feels like. Anyway, right, next question.
Ray Matteo says, will the Prime subscription be valid to obtain the item?
I think just to write was right. Yeah, I don't think it was a Banner Cube. I think it was a no. The skull was a CitizenCon reward, but the holographic one was the one for that year, as in you had to go to a bar citizen. So yes, it was a CitizenCon, not a subflare. No, sorry, I asked the question again. Sorry, I got distracted by just to write. Right, shut up. Right.
Rayo Mateo said, will the Prime subscription be valid to obtain the item?
No. That they're never. You have to pay for. It's going to be with dollars. Yeah. As I said, just go out there and find a smaller creator that'll really appreciate it. Unless you're like a recurring thing for someone, you know, they'll value it a lot more than any of us bigger guys. Anyway, next one, Algared.
Swift Werewolf. Ship Showdown. What do you think the top 4 ships will be? 85X.
Yeah, but I think there are some really good contenders this year. Oh, man, I'm gonna have to go back and like remember the ships. The whole B would have to be up there. Some ships for me in chat just to rattle my brain. What's some ones that I'm drawing a blank. God damn it! I hate it when I draw a blank.
The whole B would be good. I consider Perseus, because the Perseus does make quite a few runs in the current
the Paladin and the Perseus would have to be up there.
Yeah, because they're 2 ships that turn up in the those groups.
All right, so Perseus, Paladin, Tiburon, Kruger, F21, Mirai Guardian, Stinger, Pitbull, Starlancer, Tack, Starlight. Yeah, Starlight's a good one. I'll put that up there too. Golem, Asgard is it because I just said in the last 12 months, so the Asgard technically fall into that as well. Atlas GA, Grey Cat, and Asperia, Prowler Utility. Prowler Utility is pretty high up there too, but I don't see it too much anymore. I think it's dropped off a little bit since it came out. I'm gonna have to say the Perseus is probably gonna take the whole thing. I could be wrong, but I do see the Perseus a lot.
And when you do those tactic groups, tactic assault
Yeah,
group type things, the Perseus is the ship you generally
yeah,
need or want.
yeah. And
So
as some people are pointing out in Twitch chat, what is it? Unseeable thing is saying Asgard was in top 4 last year, so it's out. Yeah, but it was technically within the last 12 months. As in, I just asked Google last 12 months because I do remember it came out and it basically got straight in the vote.
yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
Asgard is another very popular as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
I'd say it's still fairly popular. I still see it quite a bit. But you know, even Tiburons that only came out like a month or two ago, I very rarely. Perseus and Paladin, see them all the time.
Yep.
So yeah, Perseus, Paladin, 85X, and Hull D would be my top 4 if I had to get myself. But
Yep. And I was
I've never
I've
never been able to accurately guess these. Never, not once.
I was thinking another contender could be
go ahead.
Polaris, because I do see Polaris as used in the assault groups.
Polaris I've just realized what the 4th one is, and it happens all the time. You never count the crazy Origin people. It's the matey.
Yeah,
there's always an Origin ship in there from the crazies.
Or it's a Stingray.
Yeah, we'll yeah. I won't deny that, because if it does come out next month, yeah, it's fully in contention. But you got to remember, it starts next week, so that actually does rule the Stingray out.
It does rule it out.
Yep.
So yep.
But if it had done it at the normal time, I would have been fully in agreement with you. Yeah, I think the Origin people are very loud, like a very loud minority, and I think one of the problems with this voting thing, and as I've said for years, is it's how they do it. You've got to make an art piece. Just make it a vote. Just make it a vote. Why do you? Nobody's going to go out there and make you this big glossy image unless they're some kind of crazy. You know, so all you're getting is the crazies to nominate the ships that everyone else has to vote for. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed, I agree.
I don't know. You tell me. Like, I know I'm crazy. I was going to say, tell me if I'm crazy, but I know I'm crazy. But like, does that not put the matey up for a lot of you guys? Because if you look at the pattern, there's always been an Origin ship in those votes. Every single time. I think one year we had the 600i, the 890 jump, and there was another, and I think it was the 400i. There was like 3 of them literally in the vote. Am I wrong on that, Algared, or like?
No, I think you're right. There's always an Origin ship that does make that kind of the running, because people like the Origin look. I do think that Kruger has started to dilute that a little bit, because you've now got those 2 luxury versions.
Yep, I think that's a good thing.
I do, but the fact that the Stingray will not come out in time to be there kind of pushes it up. And the matey also gets the fact that it's a fighter, so it may draw in other people from...
Well, I'm going to put it this way, Algared. If the Origin people have got half a fucking brain, and we're trying to get the 85X in there, what the fuck, bro? We're fighting us. Fuck off the matey. Get behind the 85X. It's that simple.
Get behind both. Although I could see...
but you get my point, right? Like, if they're going to be greedy, they're going to fuck it. Because they are. They're splitting the vote.
Yeah, but I could see CIG will put the 85X up against the matey.
Yeah.
Just to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll kill the 85X by putting out Bang Anthem 80.
Yeah. That's exactly what they'll do. Actually, they will, and the
They
Origin
will.
people will
Almost
be
guarantee it.
omega pissed.
Yep.
But yeah, people are right. The 85X will be the Origin ship. People have said it. They've caught on to the same thing I've caught on to. So yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Who said that? Dom said that, and so did Sangropa. But yeah, I'm with them on that. I think we just need to all get behind the 85X, get that one out there. For me, the matey just didn't land. And if I sit there and look at, it's a little bit like the whole B. Like we could all agree the whole B was really well done, but it's just another cargo ship. Like, I'll put this out to you, Algared. Have you seen many whole Bs in game?
No, the last whole B I saw was the one I took out.
I saw a few when it came out, but now a couple of months on, I've seen one for a while.
It's a bit like the Prowler utility. Saw those when it first came out. Don't see many more now. It is more of a niche. That is probably the best ship we've got in terms of the smuggler, because it is a stealth ship.
Yeah. Well, you can see why they came out in that order, can't you? Because the Raelian just flattened the whole B in terms of, like, it's a better ship for us veterans, but the whole B literally did what it said on the tin, and I said that in the review, didn't I? I said it's just like halfway between the A and the C. It's like it's a B. That's what it's meant to do, and it's not. It's just. It kind of didn't come out and go meh, and it didn't come out and go I'm amazing. It just
came out and said
it did.
I am what I am.
Yeah, and it wasn't good or bad. It was just right where it needed to be. And I don't call that meh or exciting. I just call it good.
Yeah.
You know.
And Devil Dog says Raylan and Teoli hasn't seen those in a few weeks.
Actually, that's another thing. Could you put the Raelian in the top 4? He is alien. I would have to swap the whole B with the Raelian. I really think about it. Because once
cargo.
Because this is the thing. The reason why I talk like this, and I'm kind of like I'm doing it like a brainstorming session. You know that. But the reason I do this is because eventually all those votes are going to flow out, and people are going to start picking out the ones, and you start to, Perseus, Paladin, 85X, Raelian. That would be my hope for the top 4.
I can't say that Turley doing, just because to me it feels so buggy.
No, the Thule did not sell very well. I think I've seen 2 in game, 3 if you count the one that I was on. Period.
And I like the concept of Thule. I like the idea of it. But
when you can pay like $100 more or whatever and get the Ironclad Assault, why the fuck wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a more versatile ship.
And you look at the Thule being a snub carrier, and it can't take P-52s and 72s properly.
Yep.
Seriously, to me, it's crap. Yeah, it would be an amazing snub carrier if it could carry all the snubs. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. But I know Devil Dog said that'd be good if snubs were worth a damn. Well, it'd be good if it could carry all the snubs, if it was a proper snub carrier.
Again, I'm really liking. Remember, I used to come out with things, and you used to come out with things I would talk about, and people would say, "Oh, you guys are crazy. You don't know what you're talking about." And now, you and I will talk about things, and other people are talking about things in exactly the same way. Like, it's just, don't want to call you guys slow, but it's just really cool to see how educated everyone's become, is what I'm trying to say. Like, everyone instantly can read the room now, read the tea leaves. We've all been around along. Like, I don't want to blow my own horn or anything and say I was right, you were wrong, but it's just really cool to see everyone on the same page now. That's what I'm trying to say.
There are so many times where people called us absolute lunatics.
Yeah, but we were proven wrong as time went on, right?
I mean, proven right as time went on.
Oh, whatever. And wrong. We've
But,
had it go both
yeah,
ways. Let's be honest.
there are times we've been wrong and thought something was cool and got our hopium up.
Yeah.
But so many times we'd see someone and go, that's what it is. That's one of the things I really found amazing at CitizenCon 20 when we were there in 24, when they went through where we've been, where we're going, where we're at.
Yeah.
Because so much of that was like, yep. It just validated the things we'd said in the past.
Just acknowledging.
No, I'm sorry, just to write. I have to disagree. Why you may think it's Execute who's mostly playing, I'm well and truly down that spectrum.
He's just better at hiding it. He's just better at hiding it.
I'm better at hiding it. That's what teachers are. We're good actors.
D283W says the Hermes too. Yeah, actually, believe it or not, I do see Hermes in game. Not all the time, but I do see them in game. I see them more than an Apollo, put it that way. That would be up there in the top 10, that's for sure. I'll give you that. But I still think it didn't land as well as some of the other ones, personally. I don't know, I'm just really salty about the Apollo. It's the same with the Raelian. I don't like the Thule because it was stolen from the Raelian. I'm not a fan of the route that they've chosen to take is for money. Is clearly based on money. Like, if you'd made a dedicated Thule or a dedicated Hermes, they would have been way cooler, right? And this making variants shit is clearly designed to raise money. That I'm not a fan of. One of the things I really liked about this game was how unique and special and all the ships felt. And it doesn't feel that way anymore. It just money raising.
I go back to the thing John Cruise said.
Yeah.
In a couple of videos ago. It was,
sorry, I totally forgot about the Clipper. He's right. The Clipper will be very popular too. The Clipper was, you know how they talked about the Cutter? The Clipper was more popular than the Cutter. That's crazy. Like almost 3 times the price, and it was more popular than the Cutter. So that just tells you how popular that.
Tells you how popular that was. Yeah. Tells you how popular a generous ship was.
I don't think it was just because it was generous. I think of a lot, like that was the other thing we learned when we talked to Ben and John. Remember, it was how it looked. It was the weirdness of it.
Yep. Oh, but and that is the ship, but we were told the designer of it was
not Drake. We got lied to.
Crazy.
Yeah. We got lied to big time and trolled there. I picture them there every day, laughing every time we mentioned it's not Drake, and then just go have a big laugh at our expense, knowing that they'd fed us misinformation. But yeah, never trust them ever again now. Go around them, but I still think that's got variants on the cards too, because much like how you can see the Cutter engine variants, they changed the engines and stuff. I've sat there and looked at the back of the Cutter, and it is right up the Clipper, and it's right for the same thing. You know how it's got 2 different wings? 2 wings the same. You see what I mean? Like, you can just sit there and you can see, and the way that it's shaped, I still think it's going to be one of the first surface miners. Like the how we went through all the different things we thought it could do, and the other one's a bounty hunting ship, because there's so much free space in that ship and stuff like that. There's clearly 2 variants coming for that. And the reason we've never heard of them is obviously bounty hunting would be behind server meshing. So that'll probably be the first one we see. And then when they get around to do surface mining. So, fuck knows how far away that.
Pete says, the crafting table in that helps sell.
Oh, shit. So this is why I crowdsourced this shit. He's absolutely right. We've got another one. The Ironclad. Fuck. He's right. So, you see what I mean? Like there's so many ships coming out. I don't know. Where do you put the Ironclad? Because for me, the Ironclad fell flat. Right? I know a lot of people like the Ironclad, but again, I'll put it back to you, Algared. Do you think that comes in? Like, I want to like the Ironclad, but personally, I don't.
I like the Ironclad. I from the time I first saw it, I liked the idea of it just because it was so James Bond moonraker.
Yeah.
The ability to swallow. The very first thing I did when I pulled it out was went and took a salvage mission and tried to swallow up the ship, and I did. I succeeded.
Yeah,
But
I'm trying to put my thoughts down and be more everyman, which is really hard to do, right? Because you've got to look at everyone else's shit. I think the Paladin and the Raelian will drop off. I don't want the Paladin.
well, look, the alien ships always drop off.
Mm.
Is my feeling. So the Raelian might get close, but I don't think it's going to make it.
I'm just trying to figure out in my head what's more popular, the Paladin or the Ironclad. Now, I do see Ironclads, but I see the Paladin a lot more.
But you've also got those crazy Drake people who are just as crazy as the Origin.
Yeah, but which one's more crazy, the Clipper or the Ironclad? And I have to go towards based on the data, more people have Clippers than Ironclads.
Would they be greedy and try and get both crossover?
Oh, they'll try
because they're totally different.
But they won't. We know how they set up the votes. The first vote's going to be Clipper versus Ironclad, just like you said, 85X versus Matey. It's fucking obvious, right? And we're not wrong in this. Like, you think it through, that's exactly what they'll do, and they'll deliberately set up the bigger ones to fail because it's more work for them.
Yeah, I could see that. I know it's. So when they put a big ship up against a little ship, vote for the big ship just to make more work.
No alien ship ever got top 4. Why do I feel like that's bullshit? He's probably right.
He's probably right.
Why does it feel bullshit? Yeah, my brain's telling me there's something not quite right there about that statement.
Certainly, we can say no. I would go no alien ship has ever made the top one, but I think you could be right.
D14 Lone Star is saying I never see the Clipper around. I see Clipper every day. I see him a lot. More than I see Ironclads. And again, like what we've found on the data is people vote for what they own. That's another part of this, right? So if you think about it, if more people own Clippers than Ironclads, they're going to vote for the ship that they own because, well, at least I get something out of it. You see, so that's got you got to weigh all this up, and that's what makes it really difficult. But I think we're boiling it down to a top 10 now.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to think that the Ironclad would make it, but the thing that for me kills it is the fact that as much as I enjoy doing the James Bond Moonraker thing and all the rest of it, is the fact that it was also so buggy, and it still feels.
No, it's a lot better in the tech preview. Robert JT, give me your top 4 because usually he's spot on with this shit. I remember this. We had an argument with him about something. What was it last year? Oh no, we were arguing with the Aurora. That's right. Robert, what's the top 4? Tell me, because then when it's wrong, I can say you're wrong. Yeah, Robert, give me your top 4. He's not wrong. The Paladin does get dunked on by the Perseus, but the Paladin can also be run very effectively with 2 people. The Perseus really does need the 3 minimum at the moment, and again, obviously with engineering, that's all going to change as well. But yeah, I see Paladins and Perseuses a lot, and combat ships tend to be more popular in the current state of the game. Paladin, Perseus, Clipper or Ironclad. I'm really struggling with those last 2. It'll be one of those 2, Ironclad or Clipper, I think, and then I think you've got to chuck the 85X in there. Algared, I don't know where I'm sitting. Where are you at?
Look, I can see the Perseus just because I see it a lot in the
tactical strike groups.
I could see tactical strike groups. Yep, I could see a Polaris, but I think the Perseus trumps it. Based on that, I could also see something like a Redeemer because they get pulled in. The Paladin gets pulled in for those. But
Mm,
I'd certainly go the Perseus, the 85X. I think the clip up based on the fact that so many people own it.
mm,
And then I'm usually pretty hopeless
the
because I
85X.
don't really
Yeah.
because what is it? It's a skin and
Yeah.
care about skin, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
I don't need.
I'm kind of with Altzilla there. He says I think the Aurelian could beat the Ironclad, and I'm in the same book. I think the Aurelian was better received than the Ironclad because of all the
Yeah,
bugs and stuff. Now, if
yeah,
the
I think you're right.
if the Iron and then who was it? Robert said the Ironclad has left a bad taste in owners. No, Rabbit said, sorry,
Yeah,
not Robert. Ironclad has left a bad taste in owners' mouths due to the command module, and I think that's kind
yeah.
of the way the Ironclad landed left a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Left a bad taste in people's mouth, and that's why I don't think it'll get there. The matey, I could see that making it easily, just because of the origin factor, just because of the fighter. So it's got appeal across several of the factors.
And when you get into bigger ships too, less people own them. So yeah.
But I'd like to see the 85X in there, and I think that means the 85X and the matey go up against each other.
Look, if you look traditionally how those votes have gone, the community does the right thing, and we try to get at least one ship in there that needs the skin. Like look at the Gladiator last year, and the one before that, and the one before that. I've no doubt the 85X is because we want every ship to have a skin, and it's just the right thing to do. So I've got no qualms that that's not going to get. And I think if the Origin owners had a back against the wall and they had to pick between the Matey and the 85X, I'd like to think they're going to do the right thing and pick the 85X. So I think we can just universally agree 85X is in. So it's really the last three.
The only thing I could see going against that is if the Origin owners don't, not as many Origin owners have an 85X, but more have
or they try to get greedy and split the vote. Which would be ironically really funny because it's never happened, but it would be really funny to see them fuck themselves in a weird way. I don't think Pete would let that happen, to be honest. I think Pete would be mega pissed. All right, what did Pete say? He said Paladin, M80, Ironclad. Wait, so you don't think after? Wait. So after us, you're telling us to push the 85X for all this time, you don't even think it's going to make it to the top four, Pete? He's gone Paladin, M80, Ironclad, Asgard. Well, Asgard's not going to make it in because it was in the top four last year, so that's out of contention.
And the Matey will win overall.
Yeah.
I'd like to say.
All right, we've now concluded Pete should not drink or do any form of drugs at all, period. What you want to win. Well, the Asgard is not going to win because it's not in contention, and I thought you wanted the 85X to win. So you telling me after you bitching and moaning all last year about us voting for what was the one, the Gladiator, that now we are helping your 85X, you don't even care if it wins.
No, what he's saying is
you bloody bitch. That's all I'm going to say. You bitch. No, he's saying he's a bitch.
Listen to what he's saying. You've got to listen to what he's saying. He's saying those are the ships he thinks are going to win.
No, he literally wrote. What he literally says right there.
Oh, okay. What I want to win. Yep. Okay.
What I want to win.
He
didn't want the 85X to win after all these bitching.
Oh no! Now he's saying I want the 85X to win, but I don't think anyone will vote for it.
They will. They will. They'll do the right thing. The community has done the right thing all these years, and again, they will do the right thing. Because they're good guys. They are. Fundamentally, we all want to share in this game. I guarantee you, it's going to be in the top four. I don't even have to think about it because I know the community is that way inclined. Right?
People didn't think the MTUV would.
No, they didn't think the Gladiator would win. It's happened every year, and every year they've got through because we just want every ship in the game to have a skin. And this is the last one, and then we can just go back to doing the fact that CIG has to have all the ships voted in so they can get skins is fucking ludicrous. They should have just gone out and gone, right, what are the ships that don't have skins? Bang, 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 bang. And just done them. But no. You know?
No, so I can understand some.
Yeah.
Because there's so much work that needs to be done on the ships, or
Yeah.
we're thinking we're going to change the look of a ship. Like,
If I had my way, do you know what I would do next year? Have you any idea at all what I would do?
No.
I would go out and pick the 4 most random, unutilized ships in the entire fucking game and vote for them. Because it would send the biggest message of bullshit to CIG, right? As Paul will tell you, the whole reason we did the MPUV was we needed to teach them about volume-based viral marketing because they didn't know it. These people that have done marketing for years and years, and they're fucking hopeless at it, right? And everything that was taught there was lost because as soon as the next person came along, they were exactly the same. That MPUV, they sold so many of them that year, they couldn't believe it.
Yep.
And the same thing will happen.
Initially, they thought we'd stuffed their sail.
Yeah, they were bitching and moaning because I can't remember what the other ship was, but the other ship that was getting knocked out, or that got knocked out, was the one they wanted to get in because that was in their statistics a very popular ship. So they thought they were going to lose out on all this money. Well, quite honestly, they made more money than they were intending to make
because they sold. They sold the MPUV in more volume.
But the very next year, that guy left, and someone else came along, and so everything was taught was lost. And it's the same thing again. Like, we see these marketing people come along, and we keep telling them how they should sell things because you're wanting to do money raising, right? We all get that they're trying to do money raising because they're obviously trying to keep the lights on and, Squadron 42, blah, blah, blah. But you don't kill people with strangulation. You kill them with kindness. People will open their wallets gratefully if you treat them with respect and the proper, if you just ask for things, you're surprised how much people will help you. But when you feel like you're being ripped off and, like the wallet closes, yes, strangulation.
No, we didn't get the marketing guys fired.
No, I wish. I fucking wish. Actually, we've made requests over the years to just sit down with the marketing people and talk to them. Because again, like, you can look at us like they take it like it's an attack. It's not an attack. It is trying to help you. A lot of what me and Algared have done has been education. A lot of what Paul and Space Tomato do is education. Half of what we do is calming people down so they don't go off their tits, but also trying to get CIG to do the right thing so people don't go off their tits. Like, that's half of it, is it not, Algared? We're the middlemen. This shit. We see it from both sides. So to ignore any content creator, like if all the content creators are saying don't do this, that's a really loud sign that you shouldn't do it because it's going to blow up in your face. And how many times, community included, we're all sitting here screaming, "Don't do this," and the shit hits the fan every single time.
Well, Datsun Assault claims that he heard that we got at the MPUV, we got the marketing guy fired.
Oh, okay.
Hadn't heard that.
No, that's news to us.
Next question.
Hang on. Ikakosoon also says the Idris is a dark horse.
If I let it in.
God, Algared, I think we found our episode for this week, by the way. We probably have to talk about ship showdown speculation. We usually do those in episodes, so we might have to do that one this week. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Look, I think the problem with the Idris is it's not the final Idris. Right? Anyone that has been around long enough will tell you, we all know there's a Squadron 42 version of it out there.
And we know that eventually that's going to be ported across,
and
that's what we'll get at the moment. And
when you've been looking at the Idris for the last 10 years, it's kind of like the whole B landed. It just landed a bit flat. Like, it's like, yay? Like, it's just, we already knew what we were getting for so long. Again, you can see why they're trying to hide things, and like, it's that surprise and hype at all, that big release. Whereas if you've just got the balloon, you fill up the balloon full of hydrogen, and it and it slowly deflates over time. Well, it's not very exciting. Well, that's kind of how the Idris landed for me, deflated.
Yep. And look, for me, the sad thing about the Idris is when I'm on an Idris in Squadron 42, I'm going to know my way around like the back of my hand. Whereas ideally, I'd have thought that you're a new recruit on the Idris, you're not going to know your way around. You're going to, you're going to be, well, where are the engineers? Right. You've got a rough idea, but you've got to find it. Whereas at the moment, I know the ship very well. So it takes some of that learning process away. And, but yeah, that's just my
You
view.
also mentioned the Polaris. The Polaris would also be out of contention because it won last year. And I think someone said that I don't think the social confusion said I don't think the Aegis will be allowed. I do remember at the time when they made the skins for it, they said they don't ever want to make any more skins for it, because it's really hard to make skins for. And I think it'll be the same for a lot of the big ships going forward. Like, all right, you tell me this next year, come to Ship Showdown, trying to tell me the Kraken's not going to be in that top 4. Saying
If they let it, but I don't think they'll let it.
Yeah,
They didn't let, they haven't let the big ships in.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, to me, but again, you'll notice all the skins are fairly plain. Now they've always kind of just been 1 or 2 colors, that, with the exception of the best in show, but they were all fairly small ships that year, right? Anytime there's a big ship, like look at the Polaris, it's basically just the whole thing's basically just gold.
Oh come on, look at the Reclaimers skin.
Yeah.
For that very first year,
I don't know. Again, I say the same thing Wright said there. Are there enough Kraken owners to let it win? It'll be a very popular ship, right? Because I think a lot of people are really looking forward to that Kraken. But it's the same token. They're more data ship owners or more capital ship owners.
And that's why I tend to think capital ships tend not to win.
Well, I think if any ship was going to pull it off, it would be the Kraken. That's just me. I think the Kraken's been one of the more popular, bigger ships. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Yeah. All right. We'll do a video on that bit for this week. I think we'll go through the top 10 contenders for Ship Showdown. I think that's what we'll do.
Sounds good.
All right.
Demon Wolf.
Next question.
So, when do you think CIG put the Odin in the Anvil Complete pack? Maybe IA this year, or will it be a few years down the road?
It'll be IA,
I reckon. Well, they usually update the packs at the end of the year. That one, I assume they'll do it. They may choose not to, just because it's such a huge increase on that pack.
If I was ever going to do it, I would do it with and without. So I'd have an Anvil Complete pack. And then an Anvil Complete plus Odin pack or something like that, or with that minus Odin pack or something like that, because that
Anvil minus Odin. Yeah.
My thoughts.
Sub Odin pack. I don't know. Anvil sub Odin. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I think that would be the way to go. Or you just make a pack where you say, add your ships you want.
Again, we've been saying that for years, haven't we? Just have a custom pack builder.
A custom pack builder, yeah. You can add the crap or take the crap out. Demon Wolf.
Yep.
So when do you think? Oh, sorry, that's the one we just did. Rabbit.
He's old, guys. Forgive him.
I'm on.
Yep.
I forgot the ticket, so I read it again. Rabbit. Does it have a fancy clock? That's the real question. What is the context?
I don't think that's the question. I think he was just saying that to someone in chat. So go next one.
Okay. Demon Wolf says, Gamescom. Do you think they will show off a Squadron 42 trailer to the world so people can go wait? I can fly with Luke Skywalker. Sign me up. Or will they instead wait for October and hope the streamers, influencers, press talk about it?
All right. So, next, so was it August 26th for Gamescom? the information I have, I don't think Squadron's coming this year. From all the things I've been able to put together, I think what is going to be happening is what's happening in October is basically the people they've invited there. They're going to use them to deaden the blow of it, the release date being delayed until next year, and they're going to show off. What do you call it? Show off the game, couple levels of the game, get them to talk about it and all that type of stuff, and they'll do like an event, some videos and stuff like that, and show off some Squadron stuff. But I think that's where they're going to start to do the pre-orders and stuff like that. I think they're doing their own mini event now. Where before I thought they were going to use Gamescom. I think they're just going to do it themselves and use all the content creators that are turning up event to soften the blow of delaying it for 5 to 6 months. And I think, I don't know about you, Algared, but I think it's February. Now,
I don't know. Like I know that the October event determined by the date for what is it? It was just a launch for a date that we're going to do later on.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been as big an issue.
It's just that if it was coming out in October, right? We're literally like 3 months away now. You would have thought you would have heard something by now.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I get that.
And even at Gamescom, that's only 2 months away, right? I just, it just something that just doesn't smell right there. It's too short of time period.
But I could see them doing Gamescom. I could see them doing something like that for Gamescom. To G up the G ups. The fact that we haven't heard much more about the October event, bar the stuff they've done,
it pushes it all back, doesn't it?
It makes you think, it's not coming. But
I don't know where I'm at.
Simple fact, but I know that the October event was conditional on knowing when. Waiting. They literally waited until Grand Theft Auto gave their release date before they decided whether they were going to do it or not. That gives me pause. But that's the only thing that makes me go, but everything else makes me think, it makes sense for it to be the start of an advertising campaign rather than the actual launch.
Would be kind of interesting. So I'm just reading what Shipzilla said there. He said, you guys should do your own ship showdown and let the viewers see what it compares. Maybe we do a live show this week. Algared, we do another live show tomorrow or Monday, and then record that and just put it up as an episode. Maybe. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, possible.
Not a terrible idea at all. But we'd have to... Well, me and Algared would have to knock it down to like the top 10 or top 20 or something like that. Others will just take too long.
Almost like a mini tier show.
What do they knock it down to? 16? So we'd have to knock it down to 16. But our 16 could be wrong, which would change the whole thing. But anyway.
Our 16 would be our 16, not...
Yeah, the community 16. But like, again, we'd be trying to make the best guess on what that would be. Yeah. Possible though. We'll have a think about it. We'll have a talk.
Well, we could also see if we do it, we could also decide what the categories are. Opposed to having, there's an alien ship category and
categories. There are no categories. That's what it is. Because there shouldn't be any fucking categories.
The top ships.
You know what the categories are for? So marketing can fucking spin it any way they fucking want. That's what they're for. It's what I like. Most people, hey, I like that ding. I need to record that. That was a great ding. I like that. But no,
that was just
felt like a spoon. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, reminds me this.
It's just my pen,
There's
my
a guy.
my pencil
He does
in my
these
pen.
before you buy reviews, and he's got like you know those bells that they ring when you walk in a shop. And every time he
Yeah.
swears, he just rings the bell. And I remember one day he got so angry with the review, he actually broke the bell. What are you saying,
right.
Pete? Hang on, Pete. Yeah, you go to the next question. I'll see what Pete's doing. Bullshit, not Pete.
All right. So Chrisan says, Sergio mentioned all manufacturers will have competing ships of similar size in that spirit. Is the Galaxy the direct competitor to the Carrack?
No. Galaxy is a direct competitor to the Caterpillar.
Because when you look at the Galaxy in cargo module aspect of the Galaxy, the SCU of the Galaxy is exactly the same as the Caterpillar. And they are both modules.
Yeah, and would they have like 11 different ideas for modules? They've basically just taken, you know, the 3 that they've talked about and ported it over to an RSI instead of a Drake. And so if you look at the Galaxy now, imagine that reworked back onto the Caterpillar. It's going to be something akin to that, but it won't be the same modules. It'll be different modules. So,
and you tie that in with what John Cruz said about, you know, ships being, you know, different manufacturers. The ships look different, but under the hood, they're exactly the same in terms of what they're doing.
And he also said it's getting
100%.
He also confirmed a rework for it, didn't he?
Yep. And also confirmed that it was still modular. So
yeah, worth a buy. That's who it is, Rabbit. Yeah, Mac with worth a buy. Yeah, he's a funny guy. I like him. Next question, Algared, when you're ready, mate.
Next question again from Icrisan says, is Sergi intending to do a procedural planet tech generation for exploration, or is exploration just limited to the 100 intended star systems?
Talked about both. They've talked about eventually making it so you could generate systems. They even talked about private servers that would have their own generator systems and stuff like that. But I think all that shit is so far away. Let's get the game first that I don't give a fuck about that stuff anymore. Because like the amount of shit they've promised now, are we waiting another 10 years for this shit?
Oh, you look at how long, once they get the 5 systems, I would hope for the other planet systems come a lot quicker.
Agreed.
Because they'll hopefully have all the tools that are there to actually speed that up.
Yeah, it really comes down to how long it takes to build the tile sets. And also, I think the other thing that you would agree with, if it's procedurally generated, those planets are not going to have landing zones. And they did talk about eventually making a way to procedurally generate landing zones. Remember, with the buildings and using different statues and stuff like that, but they all feel a little bit cookie cutter. Yeah. Right? Because it'll,
and the idea was the procedural generate, you know, they possibly could have procedurally generated half a dozen systems already, but what they haven't been able to do is get in and add those features that make them unique.
Actually, a really good example of that we could give is the space stations currently. Now, they procedurally generated each of those space stations and then kind of locked them in, right? But you can see, well, I'll put it to you, Algared, you can see they're made by the same people. They are all, 6 degrees of separation, are they not? And let's just take the stat ones, right? But you can do the same thing within Pyro, can you not? They're just a different tile set. So here's the really cool thing. Can you build up enough of a library that eventually we have another system and it starts to merge the tile sets? We have a space station that's looks brand new on one side, and then the other side's completely been utterly blown off.
Yeah. Or
you know what I mean? You get where I'm going, right? Like that would be my dream. Eventually, as you can, not just within stations, but I'm just using the stations as an example. But the same thing with, so can you get a desert-like planet that has had some kind of cold snap? So it's like sand that's been completely like it's been knocked off its orbit or some shit. So it's like a desert planet that's completely frozen, which is a complete juxtaposition to how it should really be. right? You see where I'm going, though, right? Can they start to cross-reference these art assets?
I think what they're going for is when they've got the assets, they say, okay, on this place, these assets are the only ones they can draw on, and so they could, open up and say, okay, this pool of assets is what you can do from. Would you combine the luxury with the poor in the same building? Maybe.
Yep. So to put it, so Prisoner puts it in this way. He says, would they allow base building on procedural planets? Well, to answer that question, it's really simple. If you put everything together, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so no matter where it is, it just works, right? That's why they've been building so much time on all these different, what was revision 4, 3, all the revisions they've gone up through the base building and world building tech is so they can get to the point where they basically just roll it out and the procedural stuff just follows it and everything just fucking works, right? They want it so you can walk on every planet, every surface. NPCs can just go everywhere. They know where they go. They know where they can't. That's what it's all for. That's why they've been reiterating. So they can just press a go button and it just all works.
And that all makes it feel like they're not doing any progress. But
yeah,
the big beauty of it is when it flows, it just and it goes back to the type of thing Chris has talked about in the past. People said, why didn't you do what they did with Elite? And he said, yeah, I could have done that. We could have started from base and went all the way up.
Yeah.
What we decided to do was start here, gives us a start point, and then move. Otherwise, and so that's, they want to build the base. They want to build the core tech first, so that everything else they add in just works.
And the only one that you and I have never been able to really nail down is how do you go from an outpost to a city, right? And if you look at all the other city building games or something like that, game that EA made where you literally start as an amoeba and you go all the way up until like a galactic civilization. It was the same thing in that game, right? At some point, you've got to go from buildings can essentially go everywhere they want to refined streets, right? And it's the same thing in the human world. Think about every city that's ever existed started out as some little camp that went to an outpost, and it went from an outpost, like it might have a fort around it or something like that, and then it eventually had a main street, and then that's where it is. I've just repeated, it's the main street. You've got to have a main street go down, and that main street becomes your first street. Then you add a second street to it. So the very first road you put down is the first part of the grid, but there is no other grid points there. That's how you do it.
Yeah. And some place, some cities, like Sydney's a classic example. You've got the rocks area of Sydney where it's hiddledy-piddledy. It's all over the shop.
Yeah.
And that's because that's the original.
Most central cities are like that. They have a really shit city centre because it started out that way.
Because that's where it started. And, the rocks in Sydney is not the city centre anymore.
No, they tend to move once they get big enough because that place is such a cluster.
Grid line.
Yeah, exactly. The only city I've ever seen, and you'd have to agree on this one, is Canberra.
Yep, Canberra
was a structurally built city from the get-go, and the actual worst parts of the city are the outer suburbs, because when they built Canberra, they built it as all these symmetric circles, and so when you go to the outer suburbs, they didn't continue that. They just let it go to a dog's breakfast, and it's shit as hell on the outside, but really good on the city centre. Really good.
Canberra, and you want to get to Parliament, bang, it's in the centre. You want to get to the art gallery, it's there.
Yeah.
Everything in those three concentric circles is get to the suburbs. It's just like every other.
It's shockingly bad. Like you kind of sit there and go, why the fuck did you not continue this, you fucking morons?
Because the politicians.
Yeah, politicians. It just shows you how shit politicians
break the rule.
No, we in that you're not talking about politics. You're talking about politicians. That's slightly different.
Okay.
That's okay. Fine. And I agree with you that they did. It just shows you how backwards they are.
Yep.
one thing they're in the city they're in charge of, and they screw it because they don't do anything.
They screw it up.
Complacency.
Yep.
Anyway, next question.
iChrisan adds another question. Will CIG add more physics, like gravity affecting engines around planets, or inside atmosphere? What about radiation in stars? Yes.
Yep, that's all there. You know, we've seen the in-atmospheric flight model. We've seen gravity generators. We've seen that smog planet and radiation leaks and all that type of shit. Yeah, it's all in there.
Yep. We've seen, the smog planets where the atmosphere is so acidic that, your ship's there too long, it actually starts to deteriorate. We've seen in Nix where the sun has is a pulsar, and when it does its pulsar burst, it's like a massive EMP through the system. So unless you're shielded and you get caught in that, your ship's dead. They're the types of things they plan. I can't see them going back on that because it's the type of thing that also makes the system more dangerous or safe, or you don't need other people in the system to make it.
I think a lot of that stuff will come with the new system stuff too. Like there'll be new hazards and stuff in there as well. So we'll see.
Yep, definitely something I think CIG have been planning and wanting in terms of the physics.
Right, I'm actually going to get that giveaway ready if you want to.
By going. Someone just remind us in chat.
What? No. I just remembered.
Get rid of those night
questions. STAR-Jump starting to stream in 3 minutes. Might have to raid him after we're done.
I have to raid him. Just because.
We don't often get the chance. Alright, what's the next question, Algared?
Get rid of a few more of these night. All right, so the next question is from Citizen John, who has, I do know, since crashed for the night. He says, does anyone want a choc chip cookie?
He's teasing us. What an asshole.
He was. Those cookies were... they were great.
Yep.
They got me through COVID.
Yep.
That bag of choc chip cookies. Parker says, how much confidence do you have that Squadron is still dropping this year? Well, I think we actually did discuss that question. You don't think it is?
I look, if it comes out in October, awesome. But I think my expectations as more and more time passes, you look at every other game under the sun and how marketing is done and stuff like that, we would have heard about it by now.
No, and that's... I'm kind of with you in that. And the only thing that gives me pause is the simple fact that I know.
Well, the only other way to drop this game is to shadow drop it, right? And then we have seen that with games in the past. Apex Legends did it, and a few other games did it. but do you really think that they would do a shadow drop on Squadron 42? Like, it just doesn't.
No,
it doesn't
like
gel
I said,
with what I know of CIG.
The only thing that makes me still think October is the simple fact that I know they waited until Grand Theft Auto had given their release date before they decided on the October date. But the fact that we don't have anything else does make me think that's the start of an advertising campaign, not the or the launch, not the actual launch. But would I be happy if it is the launch? Absolutely. Well, actually, maybe not, because I won't be able to...
Look, it's out of our control. I'm just going to take it as it comes. What else am I going to do?
If it's delayed for another 6 months, is that a good thing? Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll be a better game. It's the same thing as like when we talk about things like the Banner Merchantman. They always work out better and more polished. So,
So, yeah. Theo Cuttle says, when the Merchantman comes live, he'll know that Star Citizen ready.
So Caveman Crafting says, I mean, it's been feature complete for almost two. Well, he says for 2 years, but yeah, almost 2 years. It would be 2 years come October. But yes, point taken.
Yep.
But here's the other thing: feature complete is just we can now play the game with all the features. What if it was the worst case scenario? They sat down and went, "This game is boring as shit."
Yeah.
That
We
could
can
have-
do everything.
That could have been real. We got no idea. I'm I'm just drawing from further previous experience. I've played games that they get complete, and they go, "There's something missing here. It just doesn't work," or there's a huge story gap, or something like that, right? I don't know what it is, right? But clearly,
But yeah, it's possible.
2 years is a long time to delay. Something was missing,
And we do know, like from the monthly reports, that there were times where I went in and did mocap shoots for Squadron to add filler lines or other stuff. So it was clearly they were filling in gaps where they thought there was something missing. But yeah, it's feature complete until it's not, is what Pistol Pete said.
It means they add another feature and then it,
Yep. So yeah, they were there where I think feature complete really meant we're at the point where if we have to ship it, we can ship it.
Yeah.
And anything else is just
2 years is a long time to delay. Like, being in that audience, we're expecting it to release there. That's the whole reason we went there, because we'd been told some things that it really looked like it was coming, and then it.
Well, the thing that said it wasn't was the fact that the gala had been moved.
Yeah.
But the gala was the thing that said it was coming.
But prior to that, everything pointed to it was coming, and something changed, and said it could have been something like they got it all together and realized, shit, this is not that fun.
Yep. No, I think while Chris does not have a publisher pushing him anymore, there are the board who will push and the ship.
Yeah, I still think that they need some more restrictions in play on them. I do start to think they need to start doing their own dates. And you know how they don't do dates with us? I'm gonna be honest, I think they need to start doing dates with us, because it's gonna someone's gotta hold them accountable. Right? And I think by doing dates, even if they make them very lofty dates, so they go, all right, this will take us 2 years, all right, it's gonna be 4 years. Okay, so we're gonna do it in 4 years.
Yep.
That's fine, but it basically means they've got a time limit. They can't just run around and do whatever they want. They've got to get shit done. And I get the feeling let's be honest, it's a single player game and a multiplayer game that have now taken upwards of 15 years, and it's still not here. And if you and I had been right back at the beginning and said, by the way, it's going to be 15 years, we would have gone, what? Like, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed the journey. If it wasn't for the people, I still wouldn't be here. 15 years, I would have said you're taking the piss.
I don't know, for a game that was being started from scratch, 15 years, okay, I could cope with that. But I've been saying that 15 years would have been I expected in 15 years, not.
Yeah, but most people have said 15 years, even if you take into account like building the company and all that type of stuff. You got to remember, there was a time period where in 2016, 2017, they said, oh yeah, the game will be out at the end of the year, right? So clearly the game kind of reset development because of People to Planet. That's all obvious now to anyone that knows what's going on. And yeah, we are getting a much better game. How did it take a game that was almost complete, so you're only adding to it, another 10 years? I really would like them to talk about that eventually. Like, what was added that really took the game
What changed
so much better that it was worth another 10 years?
And I think, like, I understand that more with PU. But how does, and this is a question, isn't it? How can a game that was going to be ready in 2016 taken so much longer as a single player game? And yeah, understanding that, or knowing how the scope changed, or was People to Planet so radical that it totally revolutionized what they were doing in
Mm.
terms of everything. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I like Pete. I like the Wing Commander movie. Actually,
Mm.
I think the last Passion Pro he was involved in was actually Wing Commander Academy, which was a cartoon spin-off using the same actors' voices for the
That
character.
we can't play on stream because we got.
We can't play on screen because we
Yeah.
did one show a snippet and we got. But yep, I liked it.
Mm.
I watched it a few times. I think it's better than Sharknado, but hey, that's.
We'll see.
I do know in that movie, Chris had wanted to use the actors from, Mark Hamill and John Rhys Davies and so, but the studios actually said, no, you must use the up and coming actors. They're going to have more appeal. So, yeah.
Do you want to do the
Anyway.
do you want to do the giveaway, or do you want to wait another like 20 minutes?
Yeah, we can do the giveaway.
I got it ready to go. Because I hadn't pre-organized it, I'm just gonna do a comment picker, and I'll. Good luck to everyone. Here we go. Not now, not ever. Thanks for the video. Bubblegum Ronan.
Bubblegum Ronan. So, Bubblegum Ronan, if you are in chat,
winning the, was it the Basher? Thanks to CRG. Please reach out to me via this. Do you? Actually, old. Delaruski.
Yep.
Quick and easy.
Yep, quick and easy. Okay, Chris San. Did you guys ever play Freelancer? That game was
Yes.
sick. Yep, it was.
Played the shit out of it.
Do we need to fire Chris Roberts to get Star Citizen done like Microsoft did back in the day?
That's good.
No, because that's why the game wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah, the game did have some big gaps in it, that's for sure. You could see what that game would have been if it had had a bit more time to cook. It was still a pretty good game.
Yep.
But it's the same thing here. You can see there's a lot of similarities between Freelancer and Star Citizen.
I think you see more of Freelancer and Star Citizen, but for Squadron 42, I think you see more
Wing Commander. Agreed.
And Wing Commander was top notch.
Yep.
And I think that's the difference. I think building, and they weren't built in tandem; they were built as separate games. And I think that's possibly part of the problem we've got.
True. I think the other thing is clearly those squadrons got a lot more FPS in it than Wing Commander ever did. And I almost wonder if the one from 2016, 2017 was like a Wing Commander. It was flying and story. And this one is flying, shooting, and story.
Yeah, and that would make sense because Pupil to Planet made that transition really easy to go from planet to.
Yep. But also think about the flying, like how much flying around planets are you going to have now? How much vehicle shit are you going to have now? On foot shit, you start to add it all together. Like it's probably a way more expansive game than we ever would have got. Back then if you wanted to go down to a planet, like the literal Citizen Con from one of those is a constellation flying down to ArcCorp, and it had to go down a tunnel, essentially.
Yep.
And
it going down the tunnel was where it was, yes, you could walk around the ship still, but what that was doing, it was actually reloading all the assets, getting rid of the old ones, adding in the new ones.
Yeah. It's still streaming, but it was streaming in a confined tunnel because, again, if you're going down that tunnel, they can keep all the art assets facing your perspective and stuff like that.
Yep. And while you're in the tunnel, you're also in the clouds as well, so you couldn't see everything else. So
yep, exactly.
But yeah, no, that does make a lot of sense. That it was the original Wing Commander was more a lot more like sorry, the original Squadron 42 was going to be a lot more like Wing Commander rather than the expansive game with the first-person shooter stuff. And we know it's got first-person shooter stuff. And it adds to the mocap stuff that they're doing with Mark Hamill and co. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be. So yeah.
Next one.
Next question is, hi Chris Sam, do you think referral rewards are a bit weak for non-streamers? I got 25 and all my 8 prospects said no recently, so I gave up. Yep. Referral rewards suck.
Yeah, I think. Well, again, I don't have a lot of referrals. Algared doesn't have a referral unless you stream all the time. You don't have a lot of referrals. I know. Just recently, and you really got to push them. You know, like me and Algared are not into the pushing thing. We all wanted to make money, and that would be trying to sell you a new car every week, or you know, that's this thing. What is it? The meme. You know, the second-hand car salesman meme. And it's just not my way, not Algared's way. At least I don't think it's Algared way. He'd probably make a good.
But it doesn't have a couple.
Oh, yeah, there you go. But, you know, and we only stream once a week. Where you know, if you get someone that's streaming 3 or 4 times a week, they're going to have a lot better prospects of doing that and more powerful.
And I think if they're onboarders as opposed to we're not really onboarding people.
Yeah, that's what CIG is trying to support is the onboarders, because let's be honest, that's where most of the money is at now. You know, you get people like us that are more veterans that have been around for a bit. We've closed a lot of our wallets, you know, and most of you guys will say the same thing. You're more likely to upgrade something than you are to spend fresh cash, and so that they're targeting those people. And you can see it in every sale. The Invictus and the AIE is not for us. It is clearly targeting new people every time.
And I've said that for donkeys. You know, those big events, they're for new people. They're not for very old people. And you see that, like you take a new person into the Invictus, the IAE, and you take them through the halls, and they're blown away. They're staggered, and you say, and you can walk around that ship. What? There, look, we'll pull it up, and you take them out in the ship, and they're like, they'll run around the ship like a crazy person for 15 minutes because what? I can go anywhere. And then they open a door and they go, oh, it's space. Yeah, I've been flying the ship outside. Yeah. It's using that O word. What O word?
Orgasm. Dolwiz says, will you stream extra for the Twitch shops? No, probably not, mate. We'll probably just do the 2 shows as usual. Twitch is not a focus for us, and again, we are more consistent than we are. You know, it's hard enough doing these lull period shows than. Again, we originally wanted this to be us playing the game, but we got so many questions and got basically yelled at by people in chat that we just transitioned it to a question stream because that's what people wanted. You know, you let your audience tell you what you want.
We were originally going to ditch it and just not come back. And we thought, no, we'll rather than just not returning, we will turn up. We'll just do a talking head show, just to see how it goes, and just to say, and this is our last show. That was the longest show we did. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we just kept doing it.
Yeah, and we used to do it for 4 hours, but it just got too lengthy with the questions, so we had to cut it to 3. It's actually very mentally taxing. Like again, we wanted it to be something chill where we just kind of played the game and did a bit of talking, but
what we did the other couple of weeks ago, where we played the game and just
it's always really good to interact with you guys. That's what I enjoy about it. So yeah.
You know, when we did the refueling missions, that was relaxing and nice. This is taxing. It does drain us mentally. We're usually pretty knackered at the end of it, and it drains the voice. You'll notice we're often drinking water. and that's just to keep our voices hydrated. So, yeah. Anyway, next question. Mega Tiger Ninja says, do you think it was a mistake bringing regen into lore instead of just leaving it as a game mechanic? I think it causes all sorts of problems in the universe. No, I think the idea of regen really made sense of what we'd already said was going to happen in terms of. We always said you had a limited number of lives. We always said that you have a limited number of spawns before you die. Death of a Spaceman was always something they wanted, and regen was them. The regen mechanic they brought in was them tying it in with what they.
And we've shown that you can basically pivot very quickly with just doing it through some form of. So if you know you're going to rapidly die a lot in succession, you can just pay for insurance to respawn a lot in a short period of time or something. That's how they'll get around it. So when you want to do ground combat or whatever, pay for insurance knowing that you're going to be in a lot of firefights and, okay, so the next day I'm going to be in a combat a lot, and for people that do that all the time, like a mercenary person, that's going to be their cost of doing business because they don't have to really pay for a ship, but they have to pay for their insurance so they can keep fighting. Just another sinkhole, basically.
Rabbit. On the Vulcan, how much bigger do you think it'll get, considering it will need to contain fuel, RMC, ammo, multiple ships, etc., etc. And currently it's only 12 SCU. Well, I think it's got to grow. You look at a reclaimer. You look at that room in the reclaimer where the drone room is. That's a massive part of a reclaimer. And that's basically, that reclaimer has 2 drone control seats, basically 4 drones. That is basically the size of an Endeavour, of a Vulcan. You look at you go up a scale and you go, how much more has the Crucible got to grow for this exact same thing?
I don't think the Vulcan will grow. I think the limitation of those starter ships is their cargoes. And the fact that the Vulture has exactly 12, the Prospector and the Fortune and all that, they're all similar in their allotted cargo amount. I think it's just how they've balanced them.
I think it'll grow in terms of making it so it fits the drone units themselves. But in terms of the ammo stuff, I think it's like the idea where you've got to choose what you're taking.
I'll give you the drone stuff. That'll make it grow if that's how big they need to be. But I think
they could change the size of the drone.
They were pre-metric, so I think they've already worked out how big drones are going to be and stuff like that. I don't think it necessarily will grow. The Crucible is sort of the older metrics, so yeah, it's got to grow. I don't think the Vulcan's going to have the same.
And if I remember correctly, like the idea with the Vulcan was you would need to choose. I think of it in the questions. It was a ship where you choose whether to take ammo, choose whether. Yeah, so you had to choose the job you were doing, and then go out. Whereas
you're cutting out
ship would be able to take.
You're cutting out a little bit, Algared. I think your gate on your microphone, you're not quite close enough to your microphone. Cutting out just a little here and there. So you're aware.
After.
Yep. Or just speak a bit louder.
I do.
Go ahead.
But I do think that the idea of a Vulture was that kind of roadside assist, so it didn't always have everything.
Citizen Wake, thank you for the gifted sub to Dr. S'mores. Should have left it for next week, man. You would have got a banner too, but thanks all the same.
Yep. Indeed.
Get it. All right, next one.
The next one is from That's an Insult. Do you think the RAM cartel killing PC gaming will have
an effect on Squadron 42 sales? You cut out. I think PC sales as a whole is going to have effect on every game. You know, I follow a lot of that stuff pretty closely, and they're saying that they reckon the RAM stuff is could potentially go for the next 10 years. I think it won't go for the next 10 years, because if it does go for 5, someone's going to come out and build another factory, because it's just too much money in it. When they've overpriced it and their margins are so bloody high, like they're currently at 600% what they should be. You went, well, I'll just go to 300 and I'll build a factory and start making my own RAM. Well, that means that they'll bring they'll bring their prices down to cut you out. And then you'll bring your prices down. And all of a sudden, before you know it, RAM's back to normal prices. All it's going to take is 1 or 2 other companies to come out and start making RAM. And I can't remember, I think it was Intel or AMD have said they're going to start making RAM. And there's Chinese companies that are making it. Now, they can't make it as well as the other guys. But if it's literally a 5th or 6th cheaper, supply and demand, baby. You know, so again, that's the problem. Like we're realizing that it's the same thing that happened during COVID. We were so reliant on China that when the shit hit the fan, we all went, oh shit. Like here in Australia, just an example, we had these factories that had been closed since the 60s that made masks, gloves, and alcohol, and the government has now said that they will never ever close, because they had to reopen them, and it was an epic nightmare to get them back up and running. But now, because of health reasons, you can't ever close them down. They need to be there for emergencies.
We had followed the globalization line and sinker. We had, we'll just focus on this and we'll diversify and send everything else out to the primary producers or secondary producers or whatever. And it bit us in the butt.
It showed a big weakness, and we weren't the only countries called out on that. You know, we all learned how important 3D printing was. You know, I know there were people in. I remember reading a story about a doctor that was this medical company was trying to sue him because he was 3D printing a version of their some respirator thing so people didn't die. And they changed the law in that country, so during emergencies, you can make whatever is required to save people's lives. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be about money. It should be about saving lives. And if you were smart enough, shouldn't you design something so it can be 3D printed and sell it as a licensed product? That's how you're trying to make, like think about all the companies that have ever fought innovation and lost. I can't remember what I was reading about this one only a couple of months ago, Algared, and they were in the UK. They were the biggest glass blower back in the 1800s. Right? They made all the glass, like, you know, if you had a glass product like a bottle or anything like that, it was made by these guys and shipped around the world, right? And basically, what happened was after about 100 years, people figured out how to make it smaller, quicker, and efficiency in not having these massive factories. And so basically in about a 30-year period, this entire country just went completely bust because they refused to innovate and take on the technological advances that the smaller ones could do.
Are you sure you did not watch Clarkson's Farm?
Oh, is that where it was from? Yeah, it was from that.
Because that's exactly he was talking about. He was saying his family.
Yeah, I forgot where it was from.
His family used to be plate or jar makers or whatever, and
all right, so you guys have seen it. Innovate. Yeah, Kilner's jars. That's a really good example. Yeah, it's Kilner's. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I forgot where I'd seen it. But yeah, that's where it's from. But that's a really great example, is it not? Right? And you could take that across so many things that we've seen in our lives, where companies are stuck in the mud and they refuse to innovate and they die. Right? It's video games are no different. PC gaming is no different. So if these companies hold to their we're going to rip you off blind 600% profit type thing, then someone's going to come. What do they call it? Mother invention. What's the line I'm thinking of? Innovation. Necessity is mother invention. Necessity is mother invention. We are not going to pay 600%. No one's going to do that. You know, some guy will come along, Elon or whoever it is that's got a big fat cat of cash and go, I'm not going to leave that money on the table. And they'll make a factory. And not only that, I'll just think of a quick example. in the States at the moment, they're trying to bring a lot of the industrialization, like AMD's built factories, Intel's built factories. Are you trying to tell me that they haven't built a RAM factory somewhere in the United States? I don't believe you. So at some point, they'll start making RAM in the United States, and that'll be another company that's competing with those ones. You see where I'm going, right? There's no way they're going to leave so much cash on the table.
The only reason I could see Elon Musk not building a RAM company.
Oh, I'm just picking.
I know, but the only reason I could see him not doing it is he actually is already in the cartel.
Well, no, he's actually wanting to buy and make. He's talking about building these big factories to make CPUs and send the servers into space. So he's going to need RAM as well. Why wouldn't he build a RAM factory and sell RAM? You know, it's the only cartels out there that really kind of work at the moment are things like Nvidia, where they have the tech and everyone else is just too far behind. But eventually, they're going to get caught. Everybody gets caught eventually, right? So enjoy it while you can. But at some point, the bubble bursts, right? And that's the point I'm trying. Like, let's just stick it back on RAM, because if we're going to get in an AI conversation, and that's going to go other place. But you see where I'm going, right? Someone's eventually going to come along and say the RAM's only 90% as good. Well, I'm sorry, but I'll buy more RAM and just pay less for it than, and even if it doesn't work as fast, because no one's going to pay 600% to get that last 10%. It just doesn't happen. And one of the things you can tell for that as well is if you look at NVIDIA itself, you have 5090s, 5080s, and 5070s. Most people buy the 5070s because you get maybe a 20% gain going from a 5070 to a 5080, but then you only get like a 5% gain going from a 5080 to a 5090. And it's literally double the price. This is why people don't do it, because the money doesn't justify the expense.
Now, a quick question for you.
Yep.
Have you turned off the bot, or has it died?
I turned it off.
Right. So if you did have a question, I will grab Cody Fox's question, because I did see it pop up, but not in our stream. I'll grab that one because, and there's also one from Crivitus not in there. So I'll grab those two. I can see them, but the bot is closed. We're not taking any more questions. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. Cody Fox's question: do you think the Dr. Jorrit storyline will continue, or has CIG fully moved on from that's relating to the whole?
They remember they stuff? Told it? Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, I could see. By moving on from that, the story's done. It's been told. Will there still be things for people to go and do who haven't seen it? Yeah, possibly, because the systems are still there. But
it probably leads on to some of the stuff in Nyx that's waiting for the planetary stuff. And then does it lead on further into a Vandal space that's waiting for a system that we just won't have for whenever they add it? It's a part of it.
There's stuff there. Yeah, there's stuff there when they want.
Yeah. And there's going to always be threads left open on every table in every system, because if you ever want to expand, it's the nature of it. Yep. How many TV shows have you watched where they don't answer every single thread? Almost all of them.
Yep. Now, going on, Hook had a question, where I just saw as well. He says, which is unrelated, but related to something we talked about earlier. Which concept ship do you think will grow the most before?
It's just the old ones.
I think based on the original at the moment, I would say Merchant already, or the Orion, because those ships have already doubled in size for what
Endeavour.
So those ones. Crivitus was the last question I was going to pick up, and that was if the Retaliator gets repair of fuel rearm, does that step too much onto the toes Crucible?
The Retaliator get rearm and refuel.
Liberator.
Oh, I thought you said. Let's see, you're breaking up. Yeah, I think the Liberator. I think the Liberator has already kind of got it in a way. It's got that cargo bay and repair tools on the ships up the top. I just don't think it'll have the arms, so it can't repair as well or to a good as condition as the Crucible. It's just doing patch jobs.
I think that's probably the way they'll go, personally. But yeah. So going back to the questions on our question list, Citizen Ninja, which ship manufacturer do you think CIG will focus on after RSI and C?
They're not focusing on any of them. They're all over the place. They're deliberately doing that. We've kind of said this before. They're just going wherever they feel like doing. It did feel like RSI and Drake for a long time. RSI are the biggest manufacturer in the game because they've had the longest amount of time period. They will always be the biggest. And to be honest with you, they're probably going to have more SKUs than anyone else. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've currently got the older RSI and the newer RSI. But I think there's another two to come, and that's older industrial and newer industrial. And we don't have any RSI industrial when I say that, right? Because the only RSI ship, ironically, and I had it up on the screen earlier, is this little motherfucker. The Salvation. It's the only one that we have right now that is an RSI industrial ship. But you can clearly look at that, and you can see hints of the Arastra. I can see it.
Yep.
Right? But then you look at the Orion, and the Orion is a much older industrial. So there's two ways they can take it. They can either have old industrial and new industrial, which is what I think or what I'd hope they'd go for, or they're going to make all RSI ships newer industrial, which means the Orion needs a
rework.
Well, not a rework, just an external rework.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been made, so it's okay. It's not really a rework when it hasn't kind of been, like, we've seen stuff of it, but it's only ever had grey box stuff done to it, so it's not as big as and drastic as what we think it is. But you know, I'd hope to think that they have old and new industrial. That's how I'd like to see it go. And I think you could see the same thing in other manufacturers too, like Drake. Now Drake's not as old, but you would also have to agree, Algared, like if you look at the Vulture as opposed to the Cutlass. So you can see that there are, and you get ships that are in the middle, like the Ironclad, that are half industrial, half. You know where I'm going, right? Like there's a merging between the two.
You can see that change in design, and that's
So
like when you consider that Drake is the newer company or one of the newer companies, that see that change already is quite.
So is the Orion halfway between the older, like a Connie look, and the RSI industrial? You know, you see where I'm starting to go here, right? So is it, do they blend them? And that's the other way they could go, is a hybrid look. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, but so again, just look again. I'll do it one more time. Just remember that Salvation, and then start to think of a ship above the Salvation, and then a ship above that, and then the one after that will be the Arastra. So there are two ships that are industrial looking that you'd probably get before you see the Arastra. That would be how I would, based on the pattern we've seen over the last couple of years, that would be the pattern I would think things would follow. And I'll give you a real quick example, is what we're kind of seeing with Kruger, where they started out with the Merlin and the Archimedes. They've gone up to a Wolf. I'm expecting the next one to be a medium, the next one to be, you start to see where I'm going, Aaron. You know what I'm saying.
And I could see that for a new company that's starting out.
Yeah.
But big companies like RSI, we've got them all over the place. That's a different story.
Now, we've concluded though through the talks that we've done, and what we're seeing though, Algared, is that they tested different things where they built the big ship and worked their way down. They did it in the medium and went both directions, and they've also started at the bottom and gone up. And we've concluded that the easiest for them is to start at the bottom and go up, because they can just keep adding to the tile sets as they go.
Adding to a library.
Where if you make a big one, you've got to build almost the entire set of ship.
Library. And
then you're only using pieces of that one as you come down. So it's better to build up as you go.
Yeah. 100%. Hook had a question about the Orion, or a thought about the Orion. He says, I feel the Orion will shrink, just like the Hull D and the E. Yeah, it could. But
I think because
the current Orion is double the size it was originally. So even if it shrinks a little bit, it's twice the size.
It's different. You've got to remember, this thing's got to eat asteroids.
Yep. So it's going to be as big as it needs to be to do the job. But they clearly decided it needed to be bigger than the original concept. So
I disagree with
take that with a grain of salt.
the statement there. Miners will hit jackpot with your Astra. No, because underground miners are the ones going to be hitting the jackpot. Surface miners, easier to find. Right. Next question.
Next question is Citizen Ninja. Which ship manufacturer do you think CIG? We just did that one. That's where we went off on our tangent. Chris Sand says, should CIG have a ship giveaway weekly lottery?
What do they get out of it personally?
Well,
you know,
I'm going to say they already do.
Yeah.
They back so many content creators by giving them giveaways.
That's better for CIG because they get. That's how we're essentially working for them in a way.
If it's not this year, when do you think Squadron 42 will come? We've answered that question. You think around February.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable, but yeah.
I think, look, we could literally say from October within that 6 months window. So from October to March, basically, is where I'd be expecting it. If it's a delay, it's not going to be by much. It's only going to be by a couple of months past the end of the year. Anyway. Next one.
The Orion is a capital ship. It cannot shrink. No, the Orion is a capital ship that hasn't been built, so it can be whatever size they need it.
Exactly.
It
just it won't shrink below a capital, but then again, look at the Reclaimer. It's not meant to be a capital because it was too small, but now it is a capital.
Oh, it did always have capital.
They just don't follow their own bloody rule. Anyway.
It had one component that was capital original, but I can't remember what it was. Crivitus. Now that the Ironclad Assault has trodden on the foot of the Liberator, what changes do you think they will make to the Liberator?
Let's see. But we did talk about this in another stream. We basically said that it'll probably go more towards focusing on ships, but because it was also sold as a vehicle one, a lot of the military guys said it'll go more towards a forward operating base. So think of it like a mini Kraken. So you can land on planets, deploy vehicles and stuff. Before it was a shipping ship. Now it's more of a forward operating base. So you'd want to put some more living amenities in it. So yes, the crew count is 2, but the people that live on it, like the pilots of the vehicles, they need somewhere to live to. That's what you need to add, living amenities for the crew. PDCs, things like that. Things that can make it actually act like a base. Yeah. And I think also if you made a lot of those things top mounted, right? So to prioritize it being landed and being a base. A little bit like how the Ironclad had the torpedoes come out the top. As soon as I saw that, I went, oh, that's meant to be on the ground. That's to defend it when it's on the ground against any air attacks. It's not really designed combat. And I'd also, one of the ways you could have done that, I know they did the cool torpedo tubes, but you could have also had it so that there was a turret on top that was like a missile turret. It like fires missiles. That would have been a really cool way to, like an anti-air turret, Algared. You know what I'm talking about? You don't need to do PDCs, but PDCs are nice when you've already got a small crew count. Now the Liberator doesn't have those, but we have had other ships. Perseus is one. He didn't have PDCs. Got them. So never say never, right? Wait and see. Yes, it does work amazing in space combat, but I'm talking specifically about the torpedo tubes, right? I'm trying to put words in my mouth. Anyway.
The Reclaimer gets PDCs because it was originally had them.
It was promised. He even said that when he talked about it. John Crew, when he talked about it, he said they were promised. Anything it was promised for gets them. And then obviously any ones they decide to put it on are for balance reasons. And the Perseus clearly needs it because the guns are so damn slow. Fighters would just eat it for breakfast.
Yep. and it wasn't fitting. And when they looked at it, it wasn't functioning the way they expected it to be able to function. So they added them to increase.
And if the Liberator's a
Possibility.
base, when is it at its weakest? When you're moving the base from A to B. So you need to have a blind spot on it, which would most likely be the bottom. So if you want to kill it while it's moving. And how does it make itself stronger? It just lands, and then you're in real trouble because then you can't get its weak spot. That's simple.
Did you chat?
I just call him the Aztec guy. Yeah, next one.
Yeah, the Aztec guy. Sorry to butcher your name, but it's one of those names we can't say. Says, I'm afraid to ask because I'll look like a noob. That's okay. Chances are the question you have, other people have a similar question. But can I use old upgrade items to get to the Kraken? So that's the first part of the question. I don't think you can because I don't think you could ever upgrade to a Kraken.
Yeah, there's no CCUs that are above $1,000. So the most expensive CCU in the game goes to the Polaris.
Yep. But they say, I want to make sure I'll be able to use an upgrade to the Merchantman after it comes out live and is worth 2K. If you have a CCU to a Merchantman, it will always work. If you've got it in your hand.
Yeah, just lock down one from a current ship and make sure it's not in your buyback, it's actually in your hangar, and you're good to go. That's what we recommend for things like the Endeavor and the Crucible all the time, because they're only $10. And you just sit on them, and if those ships ever go up in price, it doesn't matter. You've always got your CCU sitting there ready to do it. We recommend it for any ship you're unsure of. For example, we were talking about the Galaxy earlier. I know Pissball Pete took my advice, and he did this as well. I got a Valkyrie to Galaxy CCU for $5, and I've sat on it all this time. And if the Galaxy comes out and it's the most amazing ship since sliced bread, then I've got one there that I can use. If I don't want it, I just melt it and it's back in the pool of credit. So,
or you sell it off to someone who wants it.
I think in hindsight, the CCU system, they never would have invented it, because it basically would have meant you had to buy every ship at concept and buy the whole thing.
My understanding is the original reason it was invented was the way they had the more expensive packs was, the expensive packs had 2 of the top ships. And the idea of those was to give the people who own those packs.
It probably would have limited CCUs to packs,
Yeah, and part of the reason they also brought those in was before that. If you contacted CIG and says, oh, look, I've got this item, I've got this in my pack, can you swap it out for this? Said, okay, we can do that. And it automated the process or gave us the power to change things in the pack. But it also meant everyone else could do it to their ships as well.
They have told us CCUs will eventually end, right? And there have been people that have caught out. But as I just said, they will give you warning that they're not just going to make them so they don't work anymore. They'll make them so you can't buy them back anymore first. That'll be your first warning, right? So again, if they're sitting in your hangar, not in your buyback, they're not going to be able to take that away from you. I'll tell you when they're going to take they're going to have to come out and say, right, you've got 6 months to apply your CCUs because they're not going to work anymore. They're going to have to do that. There's no way around that.
And even if you've got them in your hangar and they say that, they will still need to give you a refund on
credit or something like that. I reckon the first warning will be is we are not allowing you to buy back CCUs. That would then mean, right, at some point going forward, that the next warning will be you can't use CCUs anymore, right? So the first warning you're going to hear is that they're removing them from buyback. You can't buy CCUs from buyback. That'll be the first warning. And from then, that's when I'd start planning to apply your CCUs to things.
Actually, I think the first warning will be they stop selling CCUs.
No, because you can still buy them. You just can't get them from buyback because they make more money.
Yeah, okay. Well, the money factor. Yep. But either way.
Yeah. The first warning will be from buyback. And we've seen that.
If you're worried about the Merchantman.
Yeah. We've seen that with other things, though, too, Algared, because like the Quadrant 42 packages.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I just remember the $0 CCUs.
Yep.
But
I'm
yeah.
surprised you can remember.
But if you are worried about your Merchantman, just have a CCU to it and just sit on it. And you'll be able to apply it. And Second last question is from Citizen Wake, who says, what state would Star Citizen be, in your opinion, if they never decided to create Squadron 42?
That's a really tough question.
Because they always were doing Squadron 42 before.
Yeah, like how many people would you lose from the early days of funding? But the entire project could have failed. There's 2 roads there.
Yeah.
Would we already be?
I would.
Would we already be? You're essentially asking us, would we already be playing Star Citizen, or not? But they're the 2 roads. Yes, we'd already have Star Citizen, or the whole thing completely failed.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be here. There you go.
Yeah. All right, so maybe we should
I
go back
the
and
project
let's go back and
42.
let's go back and do that then. If we can just get rid of Algared, that'd be great. You know? All my problems would go away. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Mine would never have existed.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd be off playing some other game. Just put up with my stupid bullshit all the time. Better for both of us.
And last but not least, Shinobi Trip. The Javelins spawn near stations if you have Crime Stat 4. A Javelin is a bit much for only Steam Crime Stat 4. Would this be a valid testing of a Javelin release to players?
Sorry, say that again?
Well, if you've got Crime Stat 4, a Javelin will spawn to destroy you.
Right.
Near stations.
Is that a bit
So
much?
the question is, yeah, he says that's a bit, he feels that's a bit much for a Crime Stat 4.
4 times over, yeah, I think you deserve to get blown out of the water, dickhead. It's GTA 5-star. Of course you've got to get blown out of the water.
So his question based on that is that kind of a veiled hint that the Javelin is coming soon?
It's been in there for a while like that. It's been in there for a couple of years.
Yeah, I just think it's what you were saying. It's you've been bad, and it's you be bad, you cop the consequences. You're no longer able to dock at the planet, the station. So if you're going to keep going around there, that's clearly you're up to no good.
At that point, you're literally picking fights with the cops.
Yeah.
It's like walking up to a cop and slapping him across the face and going, don't slap me.
Yeah, Hook says, just lob a javelin into ammo.
Exactly. Don't poke the bear. Actually, that'd be pretty funny. I'd like to see a video of that. Someone luring a javelin into Atmo and the javelin just crashes. That'd be pretty funny if you could pull that off. That'd be funny.
And it's immune, so it just lands on crashes on the planet, but it still kills you because it's still firing its guns and weapons. So the actions have consequences. Absolutely.
And again, eventually it will take them longer to turn up and stuff like that. They've said in different areas of space. So like if you're in unsecure space, it'll take like 15 minutes to turn up. Neutral, it'll be like 10, and secure, it'll be like 5. So you will be more ethically flexible in the end game.
And admittedly, at the moment, that is near stations. And if you're Crime Stat 4 and you're attacking someone in relatively safe space, and if they survive for 15 or 20 minutes, as you said, the Javelin or the Navy will rock up and start defending them. But yeah. Anyway, that was our last question.
Hang on, I can do a redirect. I just realized. Hang on as well. So you give me a second. I'll bring you guys along. We'll do a redirect together. This shows you all the bullshit I got to go through every time I want to do one of these. It's a real pain in the butt. So I got to go into the content. I got to go into the video that we're currently doing. So we're on a live stream. We're on this one, and then I've got to go down to no more. Where is it? Customization, redirect, add. There, done, and save. So YouTube will get pushed across as well when we do that. But today we are going to be raiding Grim. He's doing a shipyard thing. I like taking the piss out of art. So today we're going to be taking the piss out of art, and I want you guys to ask him which Smurf does he look like. He's got those blue headphones. Give him shit about his blue headphones. That's what I've been doing lately. Algared, I can't hear you when you speak.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. I don't know what you're doing, but you get to a certain point and you've just been mouthing half the show. I don't know what it is. But, yeah. So make sure you give Art heaps of shit about his blue headphones. Tell Grim, I don't know, he looks sexy. Whatever. But yeah, give Art heaps of shit about his blue headphones. Which Smurf does he look like? And we will be there with you. All right. Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. We'll be listening in, and have a good week. Bye.
Okay.
And they're off. All right, let's have a listen in.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll get something a little bigger.
Yeah,
possibly.
I think so too. Oh, Inforunners just rated with 42 viewers, sending the Kraken overhead.
That's a convenient number.
It is.
Based on the topic we're talking about.
It's a very convenient number. I think Execute planned that. Execute, Algared, hope you're doing well. Salute to you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for the raid and all that kind of good stuff. It is appreciated. Hope you're doing well. I was lurking in your stream for a while. We are talking about the ships of Squadron 42 tonight. Kind of not every ship, but we're going over a lot of ships. Amaryl, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. Salute to you. But anyways, everyone give the Inforunners a shout out. They are amazing. And he's doing a redirect on YouTube as well. Thank you very much, Execute. I appreciate you, buddy. Algared, I hope you're well as well. Can't talk tonight, but everyone, make sure you go follow the Inforunners on Twitch. Subscribe to them on YouTube. They have been making consistently amazing Star Citizen content for longer than I've been around.
Almost more than you.
Make sure you follow their channels.
What can I say?
Watch them speculate wildly.
Right there, it's finished. Right, I mean,
he was singing our praises.
Yeah, I was worried for a short summary, but he's just. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll love him and leave him. You obviously get a redirect on YouTube now as well. Looks like we'll probably do that ship showdown speculation episode guys as well. Thanks for joining us this week. Hopefully, this means it's probably one of the last ones of the lull. I'll believe when I see it, though. I think we've probably got about another month of this quiet time. Hopefully, it's the last big one ever that we've ever got to get across. We're obviously going to have that 4.10 patch that drops, and that'll pick the game up a bit more, and there'll be a new ship in there as well. So yeah. All right, love you and leave you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. It's been a pleasure having you. I've been Execute. He's been Old Man Hurston.
I've been Old Man Hurston, and he's Execute, and he threw me off because he changed the routine.
I know. I like
Evil bugger that he is.
Yeah.
And we're out of here. Take care.
Bye-bye.